Welcome, everyone, back to Horror with Nadia. Thank you so much for joining me this Saturday. Today, I have a great panel. We're going to be tier ranking 2024 horror. Why now? Not the end of the year, because it's my channel. I feel like doing it in October. So that being said, before we get into it, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell as well. Also, if you'd like to support the channel further, I do have a tip link where you can tip the channel as well as utilize your dollars to move movies on the tier list as well. I'll be checking it periodically. So if you feel like a movie's not on the right tier, drop some cash and we'll move it. I am a capitalist after all. So that being said, I'm going to bring on the panel. Gord, Vex, Enzo. Hello, guys. Wait. How's it going, guys? I'm excited. I've been waiting for this all month. We've worked really hard working at watching movies.
Yeah.
Been waiting for it all year.
I was so bad I didn't see more of these. I was like, oh dang, I'm probably the laziest person movie-wise here, but that's fine. That's fine.
You're good, bro. Honestly, if I had not started watching Gossip Girl, I would have gotten a lot more horror in, but it's just it's so addictive. I can't stop. I can't stop.
You should do something with Gossip Girl because it's about to drop on Netflix, the whole thing as well.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Oh my god,
yes.
I might rewatch it again, but I don't
Gossip
know.
Girl episode tier list.
Right. Just keep an eye out maybe on my channel next week. Who knows?
I'm gonna say hi to the chat as well. We got Jamma in here. All horror all day, I guess. Absolutely. Nadia's gaslighting by having aliens clip in her intro. My intro was created by the lovely Vex, so you can thank Vex for that one.
I put it in there, but she told me that she wanted Ellen Ripley in there. So
that's true. But it could have been from Alien. But I was like, whatever. Now that's a costume. I assume he's talking about Gord's costume because look at Gord's.
I know.
I love it.
El Monstro Gord.
Yeah. I'm very creative.
Yeah, I was debating, dress as a DEA agent, or I got a Dennis Nedry shirt from Jurassic Park. I could have been what's his name from that movie, but
it's so specific. I can picture it now.
Yeah. Got the glasses, but I gotta just dress like my spirit animal, and just call me old fashioned.
Wait a minute, what's your spirit animal?
Just the Soups, man, Soups boy.
He's
my homie.
Superman get up, yeah.
Why would he be considered an animal, though?
I mean, you know what I mean. Spirit
entity is an animal.
Superman's spirit animal is Wolverine.
There you go.
Oh, wait a minute. No, that doesn't make sense. Oh,
listen, it's an inception.
It took me a second. Okay.
Yeah.
Tur will be joining us. I'm hopping in here like 10 minutes. I know. Tell Doc Harwood to speed it up, dude. You guys have been at it for 2 hours. There's not that much.
He's a producer. He's supposed to be better at this. Come on.
Yeah.
Do we have Elvira herself on stream? No, or make another variant cover? Yes. Yes. By the way, Elvira's makeup, very much drag queen makeup. Like it was very hard to do. It's like, okay, big, strokes of blue and green.
To your credit, at least you don't look like those women that are naturally women that put on so much makeup that they look like trans men. So you still look like a very good-looking woman. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could take a wet napkin, throw it on their face, and watch them melt away.
All right. So, shall we bring up the tier list? Explain to the audience. I think we shall. Right?
Let's do it.
Do it.
All right. So our tier list is of the following. We love it, which means it's pretty much our S tier for the year. Pretty much basically I would say what did I say? We rated a 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah.
You like it are your 7s. It's all right is your 6. Meh is about your 5s. And then fuck this, did not finish is the last on the bottom. And then we'll rank them in the rows as well.
Okay.
If, again, audience, as you're watching, and I'll say this a couple of times. If you would like to move a movie from one of the tiers to another one or move it up, and I think I froze, my tip link is pinned. I have it open as well. I will see them come in. So if you'd like to tip me, go for it. It always does this when I share screens. I don't know. Okay. All right. So first on the list is going to be Abigail. Hold on. I have these special.
Hey, I got him. Sammy, those are fucking onions.
Well, I have a bunch of clips through these movies.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So where do we think we're going to rank Abigail on this? I personally say fuck it. I would never watch it again.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm in that same.
I actually did mind it. I thought it was an unofficial, From Dusk Till Dawn kind of sequel. I thought it was a better sequel than the actual From Dusk Till Dawn sequels.
I saw it as kind of being in the same spirit as something like a Fright Night. I thought the movie could have been significantly better to where I would put it, in that it's all right category. But I think I have it somewhere more like meh.
I would settle for meh.
Way too many issues. I think the ending really brings the movie down because of what happens with Dan Stevens' character. I hated what they did with the ending.
Yeah, but I did love the big dad vampire showing up at the end. He kind of stole the whole movie. I kind of wish he had his own.
Yeah,
movie.
I wish they'd centered the ending around him.
You got a crime boss.
Somebody like Nicolas Cage for that position. That they used a nobody though. Like for me,
that's the guy who plays Ozymandias in Watchmen. Matthew Good. Yeah, he's a solid actor. I like him, but
I liked the elements of Abigail. Like I liked the ideas. The cast was really nice too. Mabe, Catherine Newton's in there. I love her, but it breaks its own lore too many times. It doesn't establish any lore. It's all over the place in the final act. Dan Stevens doesn't really get any time to shine as the proper antagonist. And yeah, throwing in that dad at the end was really dumb. Not only that, but like Melissa Barrera's character, she's like, "Oh, I'm doing this for the son I left behind because I'm a cocaine whore." But then it's like it all like kind of like changes in the end to it's like a daddy issues problem kind of deal.
Right. Yeah, so, I didn't like Abigail being made sympathetic at the end. I didn't mind necessarily that she tried to work with the main girl to overcome Dan Stevens, even though I didn't like them making him a villain. Mm-hmm. I think she should have gotten her comeuppance, but I think they clearly didn't because they were like, "Ooh, we got to make sure we can do sequels, and we don't want to call it anything other than Abigail 2."
Yeah,
I found it boring. I found the lore to be. I would have rather more on the vampire side. I found the cast to not have any chemistry with each other, which is surprising because most of those actors I do like in other work, and I don't think there was enough screen time for the vampire.
Agreed.
So, I'm fuck this, but most of you are saying meh. Tur says meh, so I'm okay with putting it in meh.
I'm not okay with putting it in meh. It has to go and fuck this, or I quit.
I thought it was it's all right, but I'll settle for the difference and put it in meh.
I'm good with putting it. Yeah, I was between it's all right and meh.
Yeah, we can put it in meh. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew it was stupid, but I had a fun time watching it. Mother liked it. That says something.
Sorry, every time Mother liked it.
I know. Mother liked it. Mother enjoyed the movie.
Mother liked it.
All right. Our next one, which might be decisive, is Alien Romulus.
You know,
good with these clips, man.
You're on point. I would have put this on a we like it when it came out, but I'm gonna put it at meh now.
Yeah, I would reluctantly also put it in meh.
I'm with we like it. It's not that I love it, but I did like it. I have not rewatched it yet, though.
I mean, it is probably the 4th or 5th best Alien movie out, but there's such a dip in quality from the first two to the rest, so it's still down there a ways.
I'm firmly in meh. Like I didn't hate the movie. I get what people like about it, but yeah, I think I have this movie scored something like a 4 out of 10. So yeah, I'd put it firmly in meh.
I'm gonna have to say meh.
The member berries is what
all
really
right, though. That's where we're landing on this.
Well, it's 3 meh and a fuck this.
No, I said we like it.
Yeah.
There's 2 it's meh and 1 fuck this. So
I would say, reasons to put it in it's all right would be obviously the first, act of the movie is really strong. There's some good stuff in there in terms of like production design. And I would say, you know, it is kind of one of these movies that you probably should watch once, especially if you're a big Alien fan, whether you like it or hate it. I think it is kind of like essential viewing for the Alien franchise. So I don't know.
It's all right. Lands in a place where if it's on stream, you would tell someone like, oh, if it's on stream, like watch it. It's fine.
No, I would never recommend anyone watch this on streaming because it was a great experience in the theater.
Yeah.
Like I do feel that if you were to watch it on like your tablet or on a TV, like sure, if you have surround sound, maybe it'll be okay, but nothing will match that theater experience. It was pretty peak in the theater.
I think like all the best. Oh, sorry. I just think all the best parts of the movie are just when nothing to do really with the alien, more so with that android character Andy. Like I think he's like the best part of the movie by far.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I would tell people like if they ask me, it's like, oh, should I watch this? Is if they're an Alien fan, I'd be like, well, quality wise, it's probably somewhere in the ballpark of Alien 3. It's kind of a one and done. It's not as offensively bad as like, Prometheus or Covenant. Or Resurrection. Even it's not in that ballpark. It's definitely above those. So, if someone said, do you think I should watch it? I'd be like, you could do a lot worse, but it's a one and done at best.
Just the more I think about it, the more it falls apart for me. That's why it's in a meh.
It is my channel. I put it at it's all right.
Wow, so it doesn't matter what we say then. Hold on.
I'm kidding.
I'm not opposed to that rating.
I mean, we can move it if there's something worse that comes up. We can move things. These are not permanent spots on this.
Okay.
Too as well. Okay. So like if something comes up and we're like, this is definitely better than Romulus, Romulus should be like we can discuss this. I don't think I personally like it. I think for me, if I was to put it somewhere, it would be we like it. But y'all are about meh. So the middle ground right there is it's all right. Oh,
yeah, I'm more or less fine with that. I think that's the line between it's all right and meh can be kind of blurry. So it's not something I'm gonna fight too hard.
You watch it over Abigail.
Oh no, yes, I would watch Abigail over Romulus.
I think so too.
Wow.
I would rewatch Abigail over Romulus.
No,
I mean, Abigail had like some jokes and stuff, and a lot of blood, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It was
like if Abigail has like a really good sequel, I would watch those movies back to back without much hesitation. I had a decent time with Abigail.
Yeah, like I said, like
with Romulus on it.
Romulus, I was just kind of ready for it to be over.
I really think Romulus is lacking that rewatchability factor that I'm not saying Abigail has a huge rewatchability factor, but I think it has more of a rewatchability factor than Alien Romulus.
See, I actually watched Alien Romulus 3 times altogether because I did a review on it, and I would say if you're a diehard Alien fan, if you like the member berries, there's some rewatch value, especially just some of the effects scenes I think are worth it. I thought the alien design at the very end, like the hybrid design, was kind of cool looking. I know people didn't like that, but
it was weird.
I would say, yeah, I know, Gord, I know, but it's just I think that has more rewatchability if you're an Alien fan versus Abigail, which is just a pile of shite.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I had this when the Orphan of Kos, as I've been calling it, walks out, I was having to stifle my laughter because there was a pretty good. I mean, that was the one where I went and saw it, and that guy was weirdly sitting directly beside me. Freaking weirdo!
They did that to me.
He literally picked an assigned seat next to a person he knew he wouldn't know, and I was like, "What's wrong with you, dude?" I was having a really hard time not laughing at that monster.
Moved right next to me instead of like 3 seats past. Like it's like a urinal rule. You don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Whitey even came up with a diagram for me. It was great. He's basically right next to you is the gay zone, and the other 2 seats beside that are the not gay zone. I'm like, thank you.
Okay, the plot strikes back. I have it on very good authority that hybrid was supposed to have a little wee-wee that came out of his crotch. Just saying. Yeah. And there was a lot more that Ridley wanted.
That's supposed to make it better?
Yes, maybe. I don't know.
How is that supposed to make it better?
It's scarier because now it can actually, boink you. There you go.
I mean,
it's definitely scary.
I guess.
Body horror then, it's
but was it going to be proportional to the 7-foot
That's where the body horror element comes in.
I'll be honest. I probably would be like myself putting it in It's Alright if this like 7-8 foot long like lanky white dude was walking around with a Napoleon penis. That'd be pretty freaking hilarious.
We'd move that up to We Love It at that point.
That would be very on brand with Geiger stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Next one is Blink Twice, which I have not seen. So I have
I watched it.
I didn't even know it was a horror movie.
It is. It's very Epstein Island kind of thing going on. And in fact, it was supposed to be called Pussy Island, which I don't know if that's a better title. I would give it credit for being like, you know, more feminist claptrap, but being pretty entertaining on top of that. But yeah, I mean, in case you guys aren't aware, it's basically like, you know, rich Channing Tatum character meets these two ladies at some private event, this big fundraiser he's hosting. And he kind of connects with this lady who's like one of the, you know, workers at the event, and kind of like Red Flag style, just, hey, why don't you come to the island with us? You know, we're going to go on a undetermined length of time for some bender on an island with no cell phones. And it's just going to be constantly drinking and partying and all this stuff. And towards the end of the movie, you realize there's actually something kind of nefarious going on, but it gets a little silly because there's like some kind of like amnesia potion that they're giving the girls every night and doing like horrible things to them every night, and they're not remembering. So, I mean, I will say, you know, I watched it with Megan. We both liked it, but I don't know. I would have to put it in It's All Right, maybe, just in terms of like originality, but I might knock it down to meh, because it's one of those movies where like that was fun, but when you think about it, you're like, that made no sense at all. Like, plot hole wise and stuff. So
I didn't understand anything you were saying, Enzo. I'm gonna be honest.
The potion sounds like a P. Diddy party happening.
Yeah, it was very like P. Diddy stuff going on. Yeah, like again, it's like I'm wondering what they're trying to say, like metaphorically about, you know, these kind of parties happening in real life. But yeah, it's just it was a very good directorial debut from Zoe Kravitz, and also really good soundtrack. I would say that there's a lot of James Brown and some cool, like, you know, funk music on the soundtrack that was fun. And I don't know, it's one of those movies that I kind of related to because like I've been to like big raging like, you know, vacations where it's just like drink all morning, night and day, take fucking acid for 5 straight days, and you know, it's like, you know, descent into hedonism, you know. It was kind of like a modern day, like Caligula type thing.
Were there more than 2 blinks in the movie?
Ooh. Yeah. There were.
False advertising. F this.
There was like, you know, a few. It comes from like some doctor who, like, jokingly when he first meets her, he's like, "Oh, well, blink twice if you need help." Ha ha ha. And eventually, like, yeah, it turns out doctor's one of the bad dudes too. And they're all. It was kind of like all the guys are evil. Grapists basically, and the girls figure it out, and it's just you know, women revenge going swift as ever. There's really no you know, conflict in the end when they figure out what's happening. It's basically just like revenge porn. Like, let's just go get our revenge, and even though we're tiny ladies, we're gonna have no problem, like, you know, beating these dudes to death with various items and stuff. That is a little strange. I wouldn't say I would put it maybe in meh. Yeah.
Above Abigail or behind Abigail?
Me personally, behind Abigail, but also it's not a traditional horror movie as well. So as a horror film, like, yeah, definitely in the meh category. Yeah.
Okay. Next one is, I hate this. Azrael? Is that how you say it?
Azrael. It's based. Azrael is the angel of death in like Islam, I think, and possibly in Judaism. I'm not.
I thought it was Judaism. Yeah, that's where I'm.
Well, it may also be Judaism, but I know definitely Azrael.
I'm a Catholic. I don't know shit.
I read the Bible. Azrael's not in there.
Oh, flex more, please, Gord. You said it's. I read the Bible.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it. I instead watched a recap video on it because I lost interest about 10-15 minutes into it.
I tried to watch this yesterday because I knew it was on the list, and the same thing. I got bored halfway in, so I put this in F this.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm
I would
with that
say
too.
if you finish it and you engage with it on its terms, it's a meh. It's not offensively bad. It is definitely a boring movie. The worst thing about it, I would say, is that it has absolutely no character whatsoever. So you're supposed to root for Samara Weaving, and God bless her, she's putting forth one heck of a performance. She's doing everything she can with a silent role, but everything about her is kind of superficial. I think the ending really goes off the rails. Like a lot of the decisions that get made near the end aren't justified much at all. There are some clever things about the end. I think the creatures, when you ultimately kind of realize what they are, and I think their design is interesting given what they are, that's all pretty cool. But it's like a 4 out of 10, maybe even slightly less kind of movie. It's a meh. It's it's not a movie I would recommend to people because it's very much a slog, even though it's only like 90
very
minutes.
you know, you got indie filmmaker vibes where like most of the movie takes place out in the woods, post-apocalyptic, so that just means we're gonna film it in the woods, natural lighting, and have like an occasional dude in makeup chase the main character. Now props for kind of doing the primal thing with like no non-verbal storytelling. That's always fun. But yeah, it doesn't really. Primal's great because it's like 20-minute episodes, you know, like a hour and a half long movie is like, someone say something. There is one guy who shows up and starts talking and he gets killed immediately. So
yeah,
that was pretty funny. But yeah, then the ending happens and you realize like that's where all the budget went to. We're going to basically light this compound set on fire. And then we're going to have a little, a very puzzling like CGI shot at the very end of the movie and then just kind of do an abrupt end. Like
I get what the ending means,
right.
And I was like, okay, that could have been interesting, but the problem with the not talking thing, and I brought this up to Nadia backstage, is the no talking thing is just a gimmick. It really does not factor much into the plot. It's really just there, and honestly, even just from an internal mechanics standpoint, the idea that this cult. It's like they basically the cult, like everyone's vocal cords are cut. They're not like the sin of speech is not allowed. It's like the sin of speech is not allowed, but you're allowed to like, sacrifice people to demons. It's like you're sacrificing people to demons. What do you care about sin? That doesn't make a lick of sense. It makes no freaking sense.
This sounds more like fuck this shit because Tur is fuck this. I'm fuck this. Vex
I would
is
honestly
fuck
say, for like, while I personally feel meh, I think the majority of people who watch this probably would feel that way. That's probably true.
I'm not gonna lie. I think there's only like 2 or 3 movies that I would put in the actual like fuck this list. I just like the 10s out of 10s. Like I don't give them out often, and like the 0 out of 10s are pretty rare too. I mean, you guys know me. I've watched some garbage. I watched this movie called Vampire Nights the other day on my birthday stream. That was some fuck this stuff. That was awful.
I mean, I agree with you. So there's probably only 3 movies here that I would put at the lowest.
Yeah, when I say
category.
fuck,
there's
you,
a
fuck
big
this,
distinction
I mean, like,
between those and this.
Yeah,
but.
I mean, like it's unwatchable. Like that's what I would say fuck this for. And Azrael is pretty watchable the first time, even though it's kind of a slog to get through. But if we do want the fuck this list to not be empty, I wouldn't mind putting it down there.
I've got a couple on this that I'm definitely going to be putting in the fuck this list.
Yeah.
Fuck you list is like a 1 through 4. Like if you're going to give it a 1, 2, 3, or 4, that's where it. Meh is like a 5. 6 is an all right. 7 is we like it. 8, 9, and 10 is we love it.
Okay. Well, in that case, I guess we could put Azrael in the fuck this, since I would give it like a decent 4, a solid effort, for like I said,
I would give it a 4 also.
Filmmaker's point of view. Like I said, pretty noble effort for an indie filmmaker type vibe, indie movie type vibe. Low budget type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Next one is.
Fuck this.
In the violent nature. Okay. So initially I liked this movie out of theater. I understand it's a breakdown of the slasher genre, whatever. The more I think about it, the lower the score gets on it for me. So I would almost put it anywhere between it's all right and meh. I wouldn't put it in fuck this, but it's gotta be at least like a 5 or 6 in my opinion. But
go ahead.
As puzzling as the kills are, in terms of like how the hell does the logistics of this make sense, they are pretty cool to see, effects wise. Also, I watched it at like quadruple speed, and it was very entertaining that way. I actually had a blast burning through this movie in 20 minutes with like hardly any dialogue, So, I would recommend maybe watching it at sped up because it is slow. And
it's very slow.
Yeah,
it's very
so anyone who knows my channel knows this launched my poorly explained series. This movie did. I put it in F this for like the main reason, aside from I think that just the movie's garbage, is it's the most, for me, this is the most disappointing horror movie of the entire year. The trailer really had me sold on this idea. I loved the concept of this. And I think aside from I think this actually has the overarching effect of what makes the movie bad, but I think this movie should have taken itself seriously because the atmosphere, the setting, the lack of music, all of that screams that this should be a serious slasher movie, but everything about it screams traditional slasher where all the characters are vapid and extremely stupid. Like, this has some remarkably dumb characters, and so like almost every kill in this movie, save for maybe 2 of them, requires the characters to be just unbelievably dumb. I mean, it's really frustrating.
Yeah, and that's why I put it in the F this column, because I could have let some of those kills push it up to a meh, but it's just like the film leans way too much into everyone being stupid for it to work. And I don't like, there's a guy that had killed the entity or whatever before, yet somehow he still ends up dying pretty gruesomely as well.
And really dumb. Like, it's basically, if you've watched Game of Thrones, the Viper versus the Mountain scene, where he gets too close. And that scene's actually a good scene. That one has some internal logic to it that makes total sense. But he gets too close, he gets tripped up, and he ends up getting killed that way. This guy knows 100% that the killer is not dead. He absolutely knows. So it's like, this thing's, he's gonna get up at some point. We got to chain him up. And he just keeps getting closer and closer and closer to this guy. And I'm like, it's going to wake up. So why are you even affording it the opportunity? You've got a shotgun, blow his limbs off or something. Make it easier on yourself. You beat him 10 years ago, didn't you? There's just so much of this movie doesn't make a lick of sense. And it's incredibly frustrating.
The ending, just that 15-minute car ride with a conversation.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That was bad.
Yeah. Hi, Tur.
Oh, hi.
Oh, you're here.
Hi.
Dude, sorry. Apologies, Nadia, for being late.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I know you had to talk about the whole Terminator franchise apparently over there. So
man, but yeah, dude, I am so hyped for this stream. I'm glad to be on here talking about horror of 2024.
Yeah.
I think you can tell by the way I'm speaking. I have a huge smile on my face.
Now.
And a boner.
Yeah.
Where would you put In a Violent Nature?
So either meh or F this. I think meh because kind of like Romulus, as I said in the chat, it has redeeming qualities from the filmmaking. But other than that, it's not a movie that I would go back to at all. And I think that the subversion of horror, especially the slasher genre in general, has kind of been done better. And this one is just, I don't know, it feels sort of lazy in the writing. Just in the writing department, it feels lazy. However, I think acting and
getting a sequel.
Oh, already?
Yep. A couple weeks after I think it went on digital, a sequel was announced.
The biggest redeeming factor for this movie is how many Canadians he kills.
What if we get like a Terrifier situation where sequel is so much better and it actually improves the first one greatly?
I would love that. I really want this sequel to be better than the first. Like, I genuinely hope they take the criticism and make a better movie. But these are Canadians we're talking about. So
yeah, you're right.
Like, I genuinely don't think you can improve the sequel because of the particular issues that it has. But I definitely think you could do a good movie from this idea. Like the redeeming factors for this movie, aside from the gore effects, because those are impressive. Those are very impressive. I think the last kill of the movie is one of the better horror movie kills I've seen in a long time. Like him hitting the guy with the axe. Granted, the fact that he doesn't fall after getting hit 6 times is kind of insane. But,
stupid.
And the fact that she just stands there watching, I was like, dude, what's wrong with you? But there's some very impressive kills, and the design of Johnny the killer is really cool. I mean, basically, looks like a Big Daddy from BioShock, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the second Jason with the bag head basically is the vibe I was getting.
But can you all put some bear traps and some signs around that burnt down shack saying, "Hey, don't touch this locket"?
Yeah, don't touch anything. And I agree with like the fact that there was so much hype about it and it was disappointing. It did not live up to the hype. Was why I wouldn't mind putting it in the bottom 2 tiers somewhere.
Yeah.
I would rewatch it more than Abigail. That's for fucking sure.
Ouch.
I already have. And that's
Oh.
maybe why I had to watch this movie probably 4 times for my video, and it's. Ugh.
I
But
don't know.
Nadia, Dan Stevens in Abigail. Hold on.
Yeah, it's
True.
like we
That's
have Dan
true.
Stevens in Abigail. Like Dan Stevens can sway me anywhere, man. I mean, yeah. I don't
Daddy
mind.
Dan Stevens.
Yeah,
let's,
Daddy Dan,
Let's watch
dude.
it again.
Hey,
I got him.
Sammy, those are fucking onions.
Well,
I love that scene. That's a great.
You don't,
clip.
yeah, you don't know the difference between garlic and onions. Like, what the
That
hell?
was hilarious. I thought Abigail was.
So where are we putting this, guys? Fuck it or meh?
F this.
F
I
this?
mean,
I think I would go and F this because
You can just watch all the kills on YouTube, you know, separately and get all
that's
the
thing.
effects.
It's one of those movies where you
Azrael
can watch a
or-
compilation.
I
Oh,
go
wait,
below Azrael. I think Azrael's a better movie.
Totally.
Believe it or not, I think
Wow,
it's
okay.
better.
Yeah, I
Alright.
agree.
Yep.
Next one up, which I did not get a clip for because fuck this movie. This is a fuck. I would drown myself halfway through this.
This is the
fucking
one.
movie.
This is one of the ones I would put in. Fuck this for sure. I watched it
Yeah.
last night. and
Oh,
I was
Night
like,
Swim. Yeah, this is
Night
one of the yeah,
Swim.
yeah.
easy.
Oh.
F this.
It's so disappointing too because of oh man, I forget his
Wyatt Russell.
Yeah, Wyatt Russell. I was saying Russell, but yeah, Wyatt Russell. I think it's so disappointing because he's been in some good horror. For example, one of my favorite Black Mirror episodes is Playtest.
Yeah.
You know the
Mom.
Yeah, his episode is fantastic, but I think the script and the direction was so piss poor in this, and
Well,
it's
I mean,
one
it's
of
not even
those
just him. Carrie
Blumhouse
Condon's
movies, you know?
Carrie Condon's a good actress. I mean, if you watch Banshees of Inisherin, she's fantastic in that movie.
Mhm.
So they have
Oh,
they
right,
actually
yeah.
have 2 really good actors playing this couple, and this movie is just laughably stupid.
It wasn't
Blumhouse.
scary.
Yeah.
This
It
movie
made no
just needed to
sense.
be 80 minutes. Just 80 minutes if you really wanted to expand on it. Because I believe the short is better. But how much
Oh,
can
there
you
is
do
a
with a
short?
haunted pool? Yeah, it's based off a short.
It's like,
Oh yeah,
just
the short
stop
would have been
swimming, you
cool. A short
retards.
film would have been cool. Yeah.
Drain
Yeah.
the pool and stop swimming, idiots. So
Yeah,
We've got 27 people watching. Thank you, everybody who is watching. Please come over to YouTube, those that are watching on X, and also to the audience as well. If you feel we are not placing a movie on the proper tier, I am a capitalist. You can use my tip link. Drop some money in there. I have it open. I'll be able to see it, and I will move the movie where you'd like it. So just be aware of that. That being said, we got another one that is a fucking list, but I do have a clip for it.
we're not alone.
and
Oh,
they got
gosh.
the woman from Texas Chainsaw too.
Yeah?
Like
Yeah.
Okay,
This
so
movie
man.
so much potential with the premise of it, and it just felt flat on all levels for me. It's
I
a
think
fuck-
this is the worst movie of the year, and yet I would rewatch this with friends and alcohol. I think this movie is possibly a so bad it's good movie. Yeah, no, I'm not advocating it goes anywhere other than the bottom tier. It's an awful film. It's
Yeah.
it's very close to a 1 out of 10. It's really
Here's how awful
bad.
it is. I
But it's
thought I hadn't
funny.
watched it. Yeah, I thought I hadn't watched it, and I tried to watch it again last night, and I realized I have seen this. It sucks.
Yeah.
I forgot
It's
I
like-
watched it.
It is unintentionally really funny at times. But yeah, it's like Final Destination if it was way more on the nose. And Final Destination movies aren't exactly subtle, but there's zero subtlety to tarot whatsoever. And it's I was laughing several times against the movie's wishes. They should have just leaned really hard into comedy. They really should have.
Yeah.
Who produced it? Was it Blumhouse again? I'm not too sure. If it was
Surprised me.
Blumhouse, I wouldn't be shocked.
Crossover, Tarot, Terrifier. That would
Oh,
there you go.
Blumhouse is just such a man.
So
that company
Sony
had
Pictures, I guess.
so much potential, and Blumhouse is just like they need to course correct so badly. Their shit is just awful lately.
You know what? They're making mad money either way. There's enough normie horror fans that are keeping that studio well into production.
Well, that is the huge problem with Blumhouse, isn't it? Is that when Blumhouse first started, everyone was really happy because there were some of one of the only studios focusing on proper horror. You know, The Purge came from Blumhouse. Everyone liked that. We also had a ton of stuff. But then as time went on, the quality went down. It was 100% quantity over quality, and now it's just we end up with stuff like Night Swim, and you're like, ugh.
An imaginary.
I think it's just like with the 80s and 90s straight to video horror movies. Like these studios realize like people are going to go see the horror movies regardless of the quality or the budget. Couples like to go watch scary movies, so like just churn out cheap crap and you'll turn a profit.
Yeah,
but as far as Terror it felt like a deleted it's literally the Cabin in the Woods movie, except it's not meta. You know, it's literally like go down to the basement, find the creepy thing, use it. They all start getting picked off.
I will say I will oops, sorry, go ahead, Enzo. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No.
I would watch Terror over Night Swim again if I was supposed
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, it's funny. It's
entertaining.
Good.
It's entertaining. Yep.
I tried. Get enough booze and friends with you. It could be pretty funny.
I tried 3 times to watch this movie and I fell asleep all 3 times. So
kind of like me with like
the premise is
94, right?
The premise is cool. It reminds me of like 90s horror, but in early 2000, it's just the execution is just poorly done on it.
Yeah,
the only dude that just comes back all of a sudden just fine. The one that had like one of the creatures after him, Spider-Man's best friend, little Hawaiian guy. Yeah,
Hawaiian guy.
He clearly should have died, and they just bring him back because they don't want to kill Spider-Man's friend. That was stupid. But, like the one thing I will actually give this movie, it's the one thing I will give it genuine credit for. It actually doesn't sequel bait at the end, and I think that's a massive problem with horror movies these days. Is they all sequel bait. So I at least appreciated that they didn't do that. But the weird thing about the scene at the same time was that they tried for a comedy scene. And I'm like, why didn't you just make the whole movie comedy? Because you're not doing a good job with horror at all. Just make this a funny movie. Because you could scary movie this thing and make it great.
Maybe the sequel, man. Who knows?
Please don't let there be a sequel.
That too, and just start pivoting to comedy. But comedy is harder to write than horror. You know, it's hard to be funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes for some people, like, you know, having something just pop out and scare someone is easy.
Tarot 2, the second deck.
Well, let's talk about something a little bit more positive next.
People just love that. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Of all the things that happened in that movie, that was the grossest scene.
Yeah,
I think
I love crawfish.
I think the other food scene with more is a little grosser, but they're pretty close.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But this is the best movie of the year. This is movie of the year as far as I'm concerned.
I just wanted to say this before. I haven't seen The Substance yet, so I'm gonna kind of just mute what you guys are saying because I don't want any spoilers. However,
I won't spoil a thing about it. I won't.
Yeah, we won't spoil it.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'll talk with you guys, but should I wait for the cinema release because it comes out on the 6th of November over here? So
wait.
Yes, go see it in the cinema. It's worth it.
Totally.
It's
right.
Totally worth it.
I honestly think this is the best movie of the year.
All right,
it's my second favorite movie of the year. And the color palette alone is worth seeing on a big screen.
Okay.
Alone.
And I'll wait for the cinema.
The sound editing is pretty mint as well because they get like those really up close intimate sounds going, and it makes the experience like that was a deafening silence in my theater. One of 2 movies this year that did that. So
I think this is one of those movies like I could already kind of envision that I'm going to be infuriated over the next year over the fact that this movie's probably not going to get much Oscar attention, if any at all. And it's already underrated, like on IMDb. It's got a good score on IMDb, like a 7.6 out of 10. This should be in the top 250 easily. I think it's the best conversation starting movie between people who have seen it. I could foresee 10 years from now this kind of having a Fight Club like reputation because it's got a lot to say. It is so well made. it's one of those films that has a very high floor and a lot of high peaks. It is a genuinely great film. I was blown away how good this was.
Yeah, just like the Fight Club thing that you mentioned. That's how Revenge was. Like no one really paid attention to Revenge when it came out in 2017. Yeah. But by 2019, 2020, it got a lot of positive buzz by everyone because it was on streaming and people were stuck inside. So I think The Substance has a little bit more going for it because of the A-lister cast that's in there. But yeah, this should be. I think the body horror is probably what brings it down, Gord. Unfortunately, the body horror is still such a niche for even horror fans.
True.
Oh yeah. I agree. That's probably what takes it down for some people because it's a tough. It's hard to watch. It's gross at times. It's like, oh gosh, it's horrible.
I hate Cronenberg stuff. I don't like body horror, but I love this movie.
I'm with you, Nadia.
The story alone takes
I love body horror.
I'm so immersed in it that the body horror didn't gross me out. Like Vex was saying, that scene I showed is literally the most disgusting scene in the movie.
That shit made me hungry. I don't know what y'all talk about. All right, I love crawfish. All right, I wish I had crawfish.
We're all in agreement that this should be. We love it,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
One of the best of the year, not just in horror, but yeah, this is like top 3 movies of the year. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Like I would probably there are a couple of movies I would rewatch more than The Substance because The Substance is just a kind of movie I'm not going to watch over and over and over again. But objectively, I don't think I've seen a better movie this year.
Can I be honest? I've watched it 3 times as well because I did a video on it, and it gets better with every.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I am going to rewatch it. It's not one of those I would watch like every single year because it's just like
I think I would watch this every single year. You know what? It's crawfish season. I'll just break this out. There you go.
I will say I text every single woman I knew after getting out of this that they should go see it, horror fan or not. Like I was to my best friend, my sisters. I was like, you guys need to go see this movie. This movie is so good.
Also, if you like booties and butt shaking, this is a good movie to watch.
How do you all think this movie escaped an NC-17 rating? I can't figure that out. I was genuinely stunned this movie did not get an
There's
NC-17
no sex.
rating. Yeah, but I've seen far tamer NC-17 movies. And I'm not talking about like old ones where the standard was way lower. It's like there are NC-17 movies that are nowhere near the level of just body horror and nudity that this movie has. I mean, I guess because they don't show a ton of vagina, a little bit, but they don't. But I was like, this kind of feels like an NC-17 movie to me.
Yeah, tits and ass are okay. Like genitals, especially like aroused genitals, erections, and also sexual intercourse. That's way different from like a sexual intercourse scene with limited nudity is worse than like naked shower room scene, in terms of the rating system.
Just there's so much of it.
I was gonna say also like all of the nudity and like the close-up shots of like the boobs and the butt and all that stuff. It's never aside from the one scene where like she's getting it on with that one dude from the club. There's no shots that are like inherently sexual. So like the close-ups are all just meant to highlight like insecurities and like the more feminine parts of women, but it's never in a like, oh, we want you to, get kind of horny watching this kind of
deal. Not knowing anything, and I mean anything at all about this movie, you guys should literally see my face reacting to what you guys are saying, because I'm like, what in the world am I gonna walk into when I step into that theater? Like,
you're gonna love this. I think you're gonna love this, Tur. I really do.
And I don't think it's short of flat out spoiling it. There is really no preparing for it. I think you're gonna be genuinely blown away. I know I was.
Well, I'm a big fan of Coralie Farja with what she did with Revenge. Like I think French cinema is making a comeback through horror, which I really appreciate. I am really, really pissed off that you guys had a release in America and in Canada before coming out in France, considering that she's a female French director. And on TV, they're always talking about how we need to prop up female French directors. And it's like, we finally have one that's making French cinema being known worldwide, and we don't even have, I guess, the gusto to release it before in our country, before going abroad. So that just kind of pisses me off. But that's just blame the French.
No, blame Mubi, because it got distributed through a UK distributor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah,
that is some bullshit. I agree.
I'll watch it once it hits theaters.
I look forward to hear what you have to say.
To figure out how to change this. Never mind. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place today. Apparently,
no problem. Take your time, Nadia.
I've got Elvira brain. It's this wig. This wig is total tight on me. Next movie.
What the heck
Dude,
was that?
I love VHS Beyond, dude. I really, really.
It's a meh for me, my
really
guy.
I thought it
It's a
was
meh
meh.
for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was better than
man.
the last 2 VHS movies. I'll give it
Yeah.
that.
Well, so for my argument, I think I'll agree with you guys, and I'll settle between meh and it's all right, because to me, the segment at the beginning and the segment with the skydiving just shine so bright for me that I could excuse every single other segment for being incredibly less than mediocre. So yeah, I'm still looking at it by, oh my god, yeah. But if it was more hardcore segments, or maybe even if they had just, I guess, added some, they should have made a compilation where the VHS movie that we got instead of VHS Beyond would have been the best parts of the last VHS trilogy and the best parts of VHS Beyond, and that would have been like a good VHS film. You see,
I agree with
because
you.
there's too much inconsistencies in VHS Beyond, so I will agree with you guys that it could be meh. However, I will defend the clip that you shown, that sequence, really, really good, and the skydiving sequence, really, really good.
The stork sequence was definitely the strongest one, especially because now knowing that entire stork was it's a suit, which I thought
A lot
was
of the
crazy.
all the
Yeah.
zombies too were practical. I thought it was mostly
Mhm.
computer animated with how it looked. I mean, they did a filter on it or something to make everything look kind of computery. I don't know.
Right. But I'm gonna put this at meh.
Yeah.
It's a meh for me.
It reminds me
look
of remember that show Exposure they used to show on Sci-Fi Channel, where it's just like a compilation of weird short films presented by Lisa Marie. I don't know, that might have been before y'all's time. But that was a good show, and that's what VHS Beyond definitely reminds me of. Like, yeah, they're not all winners, but it is a bunch of, aspiring filmmakers kind of thing, getting their chance to kind of just do some cool stuff. And, it's more like effects kind of demo reels as opposed to like coherent, awesome stories,
Listen, Common. I'm a capitalist. If you'd like to move it, my tip link is pinned. You can tip whatever amount, and I will move it to where you'd like. So just know that. All right. But
Yeah.
it's staying where it's all right. So
Just, I have not seen this. Like, honestly, looking at the list, 5 out of the next 6 movies I have not seen. So I've never actually seen any of the VHS movies.
Oh wow,
I've never
dude!
seen
Watch
any of
watch
them.
VHS
Listen,
one.
The second one
watch
is
VHS
the second
2.
one's the best. The second
Yep.
one's the best. It has the best special effects.
It does.
Does it
one with the-
ever evolve into DVD or Blu-ray?
Yeah,
You
which
know
is the one
why
with the
it has
flying
the
demon
best-
Batgirl?
It's
You
the
guys
which
know
one's
why
worse?
it has the best
Okay.
special effects?
Because you were involved in it.
Because you were involved.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Because I was on
feeling.
the effects team for it. Yes.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, honestly, Gord, if you want to do VHS, the movies, I guess you should ask one of us to make a list of the best segments of VHS and just watch the segments, because
Just
Yeah.
make a highlight movie. Like the next
Yeah,
VHS
kind
is just
of.
the
But I
best
feel like you
of.
should watch all of 2, though. All of 2.
Of course.
yeah, all of 2. Yeah, watch one just to see how VHS is like as the concept of the movie. Then watch VHS 2 because it's the best. And then after that, just pick your segments. Like
Yeah, it's like the rest of them all have like maybe 1 or 2 good segments in them, but then it's like 8 segments per movie, and so yeah, definitely 1 and
Mhm.
2 are essential for found footage at least.
How many of these are there?
I think like 6 or
Seven?
7.
This
Oh
is
my
the
gosh.
7th
Eight
film. This is the
out
7th
soon.
film, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
7.
Wow.
Announced already. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. To me, this one, only the opening segment was the best one out of all of them. They just progressively got worse and worse. And I'm afraid of aliens. And I
Oh.
was not even terrified, scared, nothing. I was bored.
Yeah. Well, you're
And I'm
afraid of
gonna
like
say-
alien technology. We've decided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of like the little green men, and some of them are in there. And I'm just like, okay, this
yeah.
is great.
You're right, Nadia. I was kind of disappointed by the Flanagan one with Kate Siegel. I was really disappointed in the Justin Long one because that just didn't even feel like it belonged in the VHS Beyond movie because it didn't even feel like anything alien based. But yeah, I do think that first segment, Gord, honestly, just watch the first segment of VHS Beyond and then turn off the movie. You'll be like, oh man, this was really cool. I wish I had more. Turns out you do, but just pretend that you don't.
Speaking of Flanagan, I got Matthew Lillard's Tequila, and it comes with a novella by Flanagan together.
Is it better than his films at least?
I got it for free. I don't know. It hasn't been delivered yet, so.
Oh, keep us posted then. Yeah, keep us posted.
I will. All right. I say it's meh, but I would put it above Abigail.
Yeah, sure. I put it above Abigail.
Oh yeah, I put it above Abigail for sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I should have just moved Alien Romulus to We Love It. Maybe then people. Hey, I said I'm a capitalist. All right.
Gosh.
All right. Hold on. I think I do have a clip from one of my favorite movies of the year. All right. Here we go. Next movie.
I'm so glad that you picked that part of that scene.
We're filming My Last Date. What's going on?
I would put this movie either we like it or love it. I really enjoyed it. It was a surprise to me because I thought it was just going to be a garbage story in this franchise of just trying to reboot it again. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by it.
Yeah, I put it in like it. I put it in like it because it generally had some freaky parts, and it wasn't. It's crazy because I thought this one was going to be trash and Apartment 7A was going to be good, but it turns out like the better Rosemary's Baby remake or prequel was First Omen. First Omen was doing the Rosemary's Baby thing, and it kind of came out of nowhere. And yeah, like I said, it surprised me, and it was some pretty awesome, fresh setting. Fresh, kind of a vibe. And yeah, I put it in like it, honestly. I thought it was surprisingly good.
Yeah, I put it in We Love It. I kind of, like you guys, I expected this it's just another entry into the franchise. One of the best performances I've seen on screen this year by, what's her, Rain Lily, Tiger Free. Some shit like that.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But it retcons a little bit of the original Omen, especially with like the way the ending plays out, and they've set it up for a sequel. But I could forgive all of that because the pacing was phenomenal, the execution was great, atmosphere setup was awesome. This was a great film. Great film. We love it.
I did this with a double feature with Possession, and it was so good. I watched First Omen and then Possession.
Like the one with
young Sam Neill in it.
Sam Neill, yeah. Oh, man, that was a good double feature.
Because a lot of influences in this movie are from that movie too.
Oh, you can tell.
Yeah. I will say We Love It, but Tur, did you see it?
Yeah. I'll give it We Love It because I do think that it has a huge rewatch factor, and it's just a great film all around. I actually did a double feature with the First Omen, not the First Omen, but the original Omen movie. So yes, I watched the original Omen movie for the first time, and then I watched this. So yeah, it was really, really good. I was pleasantly surprised. I would definitely rewatch it. And so yeah, I definitely put it in We Love It.
I would put it behind The Substance, though. I wouldn't put it above it.
Agreed.
I trust you guys. Yeah, I trust you guys.
Okay.
Gord, since you haven't seen the original Omen, it is like definitely recommended. It's worth watching. There was like a 2000s remake with Julia Stiles. It's basically a copy and paste of the original.
Liev Schreiber, right?
On June 6th, 2006.
Oh, I think I've seen that one.
It was lame.
Yeah. It's quite literally a copy and paste of the original film. So just watch the original and then don't bother with the sequels and then watch the First Omen. There you go.
Closest thing I've seen to the Omen is Finding Nemo because Nemo is Omen backwards.
There are worse sequels. There are worse sequels.
Yeah, the sequels are great because you get Sam Neill literally starting the nuclear apocalypse, you know? So it's pretty cool for that factor.
Well done, Sam.
I was thinking if you could remake The Omen, you remake the first 3 movies into one awesome movie, you know? Like, not only is he born and his father gets killed and he's the son of the devil, but he grows up, becomes the president, triggers fucking World War III. Make that one big movie.
Words.
Yeah.
Or a mini-series. Honestly, a
Yeah,
mini-series would be better for that. Similar to, like, they should have done a mini-series for Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
There's so many issues.
If you did a mini-series for
that
Salem's
on that
Lot,
list. Hold on.
yeah. I figured you didn't put it on the list because we talked about it a great deal on a separate stream. If you did do a mini-series of Salem's Lot, like, you should expand upon the book, do stuff that wasn't in the book, like add a bunch of extra stuff and really, really milk it, you know?
Yeah.
Like build upon it, you know? Improve on the source material.
I was so disappointed with that. That could have been so much better.
We all were.
I added it to, I know. We all were. Okay, so we have it at, we love it. All right, the next one.
Boys.
I think that I like TV shows.
Meh. I would even put it in fuck this. I mean, anybody else watch this?
Shit. No.
Yeah, fuck this shit.
It's not so bad.
I watched it. First of all, I'll recommend another movie that's very similar that also isn't a horror movie just like this. It's called Brigsby Bear, and it has Mark Hamill.
Brigsby Bear, really?
That was a good movie. But this is kind of the same thing. It's like a fake TV show that you remember watching as a kid, but it's all a lie. But this one gets a little more, supernatural with it. But of course, it just all ends up being a big metaphor for being closeted and coming out of the closet and admitting you're gay. That was basically what I interpreted it as. Of course, they take this main actor, put him in a dress at some point. I don't know. It's some of these A24 movies, they got a great premise and they just really like shit the bed with the ending. And this movie's no different. I mean, it's got some great practical fun kind of effects and this awesome like nostalgia vibe to it and really great branding. I loved all the posters and the titles and the colors they're using, but it's just a weird gay movie.
No. I would put it in fuck this did not finish, and I would actually put it probably behind Tarot, but before Swim. Nice Swim.
So it's weird because I wanted to watch this movie when, of course, it was coming out. And then when it came out, I was like, the reviews have been so mixed where I felt like my mind was muddled on it. Whereas I just wanted to take some time and not watch it at all. And I'll probably visit it in 6 months after I've forgotten about all the reviews and stuff. So
it has a remarkable disparity between the IMDb score and the the Metacritic score is 86, which is for context higher than anything on this list, including The Substance. But its IMDb score is 5.8 out of 10. So the people who watch it say it's garbage.
To me, I look at it as it's not made for me. It's just not made for me. I am not the targeted audience that this movie is made for, and I'm okay.
I think the
that.
Metacritic score tells me that Enzo's right and that it's scored high by critics because it's probably a gay movie.
It's not a high. It's not a. It's not even a horror movie. I mean, it's weird. But if you gave this movie glowing reviews, I'd assume that you are just an LGBT ally who is posturing. That is really. If you gave it like amazing praise, if you thought this movie was amazing, then you're lying. I couldn't see you saying that. I don't know. It's meh at best. Even if you are gay and this movie relates to you, it's still a weird movie, you know? I've watched plenty of good gay movies, you know, they're out there.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Yep.
I was thinking more of like I Love You, Philip Morris, and a few others, but yes, that one's good too.
Vex, are you cheating on me right now?
He is referring to me just saying hi in Niet's stream. That's all.
That's fine. Tell the chat in Niet's chat to come over on this one.
Dude, that'd be so impressive if you were on 2 streams at once.
I'm serious.
Like
just troll it. Just drop my link in the chat and just dip.
Yeah. That'd be badass, honestly, if Vex was like muting herself and then like chatting on another chat on a, and then like muting herself there and then coming back here. That'd be amazing. I wouldn't even complain.
Comment
I'd just be impressed.
over there. Tell them in the chat that she's cheating on them with us. So I'll move Alien Romulus down the Met if you do that. Oh, and you drop my link in the chat. Oh.
So, wait, have we figured out? So, I saw the TV glow. Is it going in the fuck this category?
Yeah, I'd put it down there.
Yeah, I'd put it there.
And above Night Swim, though.
Yeah.
Because
All right,
yeah, it's got some. Like I said, it's got some things that look cool about it, but that's about it.
It looks like it has some decent cinematography.
Next one is Infested, which I did not see,
Oh.
and I refuse to see. So
See, I didn't even bother to watch it because I thought it was just. I thought based on your spider issue that we were like, oh, I guess spider movies are off the list entirely.
No, you guys are welcome to watch it, but I'm just not gonna fuck
No,
that
I'm a
shit.
huge arachnophobe, dude. Like I will see the tiniest spider. Genuinely, the tiniest spider ever. That I'm done. Like I just.
But
Can't.
you love horror movies, so did you watch the movie?
Hell yeah, I watched this. I watched this in
Okay,
cinema
cool.
with the cast actually.
All right, yeah, right.
Yeah, it was
I'm not an arachnophobe. I just don't think they should be allowed to get married.
So where are you putting Infested? Who saw it? Turd, did you see it, Enzo? You guys, okay, where are you guys thinking this is going?
So I'll put it in either it's all right or no. I think it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. Will be my final choice because I think it's a really interesting concept, but it kind of gets, I guess, muddled down by what it tries to do with the spiders because they kind of grow throughout the film and they're much scarier when there's 1,000 tiny spiders than, let's say, 500 big ones. 1,000 tiny spiders, those were really freaky. Then they also don't explain how the spiders get big, and when they do, it's kind of weird, and how they stop the spiders too. There's some tension, but not to get into spoilers, of course. But, there's some tension, but I think Stupenzo and Vex know what I'm talking about when they have to basically stop spiders to try and run away.
Yeah.
It's kind of
watching it.
wishy-washy, But I do think I would recommend people to watch it, even if you're an arachnophobe. I think you'll have a great time.
Nope, won't even watch. Arachnophobia. So nope.
I'm an arachnophobe as well, and I watched this. The rules with how the spiders like operate and how they attack people, just like especially in the last half of the movie, just keeps like rewriting itself for the sake of for certain scenes to build more tension or for certain effects to come through. But yeah, I agree. It's an interesting concept. I like the ending a little bit too. Just because it's not like a happy ending, which I appreciate. It's just we don't get a lot of those. But I put it in meh. I wouldn't watch it again. It's just meh. Yeah.
Not Nadia. Actually, I would think. So I would say arachnophobia is actually scarier than this.
Won't do it.
Yeah, this isn't really scary. This isn't really scary unless you just like are creeped out by seeing spiders.
I am. Yeah. I'm so creeped out by seeing spiders. I am terrified of the spiders in Harry Potter. So I'm terrified of the spiders in Legend of Zelda. I had to hide behind a couch to play that game.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Dude, Nadia, I'm so scared of spiders that I cannot even touch spiders on a book. Like a National Geographic book. I literally cannot put my finger on the page where there's a spider.
Can't watch videos of them. No. Nothing. Nope.
I was at Megan's house not long ago, and I was going to take a shower, pull the shower curtain up. There's a wolf spider like this big in the bathtub. You know what I did? I grabbed a Tupperware and literally scooped him in there with my hand, and then I just threw him outside. It's just a bug, guys.
I just died.
That being said, there's 3 spider movies on this list. There's Sting, Infested, and Vermins. And it turns out Infested and Vermins are the same movie, so that's okay. But this movie wasn't as good as Sting, I thought. Because Sting was one big spider, whereas this was like a bunch of little spiders. This movie's kind of like Abigail, where it's kind of more of like an action movie with like, monsters in it. And it's French. So yeah, I'd have to put it in the meh quality. Because Sting was all right, and it was better than this. So yeah, I'd have to put Infested, Vermine, whatever however you pronounce it. Vermine. Yeah, I'd put it down.
There you go. That's a good pronunciation. But yeah, funnily enough, just before we move on from Vermine, funnily enough, I didn't even know that the cast was going to be there, like the cast and crew. I just went to the theater. I was like, dude, I'm going to watch the movie. And then I saw like a ton of people and like red carpet and stuff. I was like, what is this? And so when I got there, they just popped out and they were talking about the movie. And I was like, oh, is this like a Q&A? Because I didn't know who the cast was. I'm not familiar with French actors. And so when they started speaking, I was like, oh man, these guys are in the movie, I think. And I went alone.
I think.
I was so confused, man.
All right, so it's going in meh. Is it in front of Alien Romulus? Behind?
Yes.
Like, where is it going?
Yes, and anything is in front of Alien Romulus at this point.
All right, so behind Alien Romulus, just for that remark. Listen,
Yeah,
I had
would...
to move this down one because Common did what I asked. But
yeah, right there.
In my heart,
good.
it's all right. So, but I'm gonna put
and
it
also
there.
notice how it's the same poster as Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
Next one is Loop Track, which I didn't see. I think only two of you saw it.
Oh, I saw it.
Okay.
So three of us.
I saw it. Yeah.
Vex, Gordon, myself.
Where do you think it's going, guys?
I would love to put this higher because I think it's cinematography is really good. There's like what is ultimately causing like the thing that you need to be, I guess, spooked at with this movie is a really novel idea, but it doesn't mesh with like the first half of this movie.
Yeah.
Like I love red herrings, but the red herrings kind of still need to connect with the rest of the movie, and they genuinely don't at all. So it almost feels like two movies in one, and they don't track very well. I enjoyed watching it, but it's one of those movies I think would get quite a bit worse on rewatch. So I'd probably put it in meh.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I liked it. I'd put it in it's all right because for me, I was like pleasantly surprised by it because it's like a weird guy on the trail in New Zealand who's like hyper paranoid, and I would say the rewatchability factor would just be simply all that weird, like New Zealand comedy that's going on in that first half where this guy just thinks everyone's out to get him, and it's really hilarious. But then, like, I mean, I hate to spoil it, but yeah, pivot. There's just literally a fucking giant bird running around killing people, and it's like out of nowhere, and it was literally shocking to me.
Yeah, the giant birds are really freaking cool. I actually really love the idea of these giant, like, kind of prehistoric birds, like, terrorizing people. I was like, that actually, you should have just had the whole movie be that. That would be
didn't
cool.
like that it was, it's also like you think there's someone following him, and then at one point you realize, like, it's actually might be a ghost or something because it looks like a black blob, or maybe a guy wearing black. But then you realize, like, it's this giant bird. But then it gets weird because then you realize there's several giant birds. I would have allowed maybe one other giant bird, but like once you have like a flock of them, it got a little silly. One giant bird is like that's fine. That would have been great. But yeah, out of nowhere, this giant bird shows up. The title makes no sense.
Yeah,
the story is just
someone lost in like a time displacement thing. Yeah,
on a track.
I mean, they're literally on a loop track, so I get why the title is what it is, but it's just like, I mean, because like for a good portion of the movie, you think, he's just paranoid? Is he right to be paranoid because there's a person following, or there's some kind of weird ghost? Is maybe he the source of the danger? I mean, it's got you asking all these questions, and then when you have it revealed, you're like, this doesn't connect to the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I agree with everyone else. This is it's great up until the last about 20 minutes where the bird reveal happens, because the movie does a complete 180 and it just introduces you to a completely new concept that they didn't build up to whatsoever. So I would want to put it higher, but it's gonna have to go in meh.
Yeah, for me, it was like the guy's paranoid, and then like the bird kind of vindicates him, but it doesn't vindicate him of anything other than like I was being followed, but like he was pretty much wrong about everything else, you know.
It's
where
weird.
in meh would you put this?
I'd put it above.
I would put it. I mean, my own rating, I'd put it below Abigail, but you've got movies ahead of Abigail that I'd have Abigail ahead of, so it's.
I'd put it above Blink Twice, maybe, because like I said, I liked it. I don't know. But I liked it for a dumb horror movie.
The main issue that I had with the movie is the fact that there's nothing that is a representation of something. Hey, Dark Hour. So, for example, like in horror, there's a ton of times where you have an entity that's chasing you, especially if it's someone who is, having a tough situation in life. And so basically the entity that's chasing you is a representation of this and that. And like, there's actual subtext. And this movie, the thing that I think it lacks so much is subtext. And if there was just a bit of subtext and switch up the last 20 minutes, you could have had a very, very decent 8 out of 10 film. Because the setup is incredible up until the reveal. And if you added subtext to the setup and just switch the reveal a bit more, it would have been really, really great. It has the bones of a incredible film. The script just needed, I think the script needed literally one more draft. That was it.
I think the
Agreed.
writer-director had two really good ideas for two separate movies, and he put them together, and he absolutely shouldn't have. So, like I said,
Well,
I think you could definitely do something with the bird idea, but
Or maybe
not
someone had
not with
big
the first
big
hour.
bird. Yeah, someone had this big fake bird, and they were like, "Let's put this in
Let's
a
use
random
this.
horror movie we're
Yeah.
making."
we
Yeah,
have
that could have
the
been it.
top guys. Come on.
It had some great kills too. The deaths were great too, even though they were presented kind of comically. They were fun gore effects, in the movie.
Mhm.
True.
All right, next up is Immaculate. I did not finish it.
Fuck
Oh,
this.
Really? F this?
Okay. This is okay. Positives. This is a movie that proves that Sydney Sweeney can actually act. I thought the birth scene at the end was quite intense and gruesome. That's probably one of the more disturbing scenes of the year. But everything up to that, I think it doesn't understand, first of all, what immaculate conception is. And it's all just
Yeah.
feels like there's a lot of drips to like these other things, like a grand conspiracy, some Satanism stuff,
Yeah,
some
that's
cult
just
stuff.
basic. That's basic giallo, dude.
Right, but then it never really goes anywhere, unfortunately. So and then the final, before she gives birth to the creature or whatever, Satan's spawn, it's just a whole lot of like, again, it's dropping in this really cool idea with the tunnels underneath the church, but it wasn't really teased or revealed in any other thing. So there's a lot of ideas in there, but they never find a harmony. The character that she plays too never really has a proper arc. Again, it's the same deal of I have all of these ideas, but I'm just going to put them together. And there's no cohesion. So that's why I put it in the fuck this tier.
Yeah.
Okay.
All I really remember from it was Sydney Sweeney thrashing around in the back seat of a car with no bra on, and then the final scene, and whatever the final
Was that in the
final scene
movie,
was.
or did you meet her?
I think it was one of those things where we have this crappy movie again. It's like the third Satan's baby type story going on this list. I would put this at the bottom of those three. First Omen, Apartment 7A, and then this. I would put this at the bottom of those three. But yeah, I mean, it's got just such a rowdy ending. And I just think it was just like a stupid movie. And Sydney Sweeney, we got Sydney Sweeney, so that's just going to be all the reason people will see it. And that's really all we got to care about. That was kind of the vibe.
Yeah, I don't know. I just see it as a very it's all right, because in my mind, it directly just categorizes as giallo. And to me, giallo, I've seen a ton of giallo, and this is
We
just
know.
like, yeah.
There's always room for giallo.
I fucking forgot how mad I am.
I
at you for the
love you.
second
I love
round of
both of
that
you.
stupid game.
I love both of you, but like you see, and to me, it's just like it's an all right giallo movie. That's it. But if we were talking about like how would I say this? In the context of 2024 horror and the amount of modern day good horror that we have, I would understand why you guys put this in the F this category for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Same.
I'll put it in the F this because I didn't finish it, and honestly, I don't care to. I think,
Honestly, just watch the last 3 minutes. That's the best
Yeah.
part.
Okay.
Of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think the First Omen, I think because they came out around the same time, I think the First Omen
They did.
dominated with that. So where on the fuck this? Where am I
Above
putting
Tarot.
this? Above Tarot? Okay.
Yeah. That's where I'd put it.
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate. Yeah.
Thing takes
But
like
yeah,
forever.
everything that happens before the last 3 minutes, you've seen before in other, church conspiracy devil baby movies. You can just kind of guess what happened.
Just go watch a Dario Argento flick, man.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed this film got so much hype and then the First Omen was basically forgotten.
Well, because people thought
yeah.
the First Omen probably was going to be trash because it's another
but
reboot, remake.
There were so many positive reviews that came out for it, but everyone's just like, "Oh, Sydney Sweeney!" Oh, so
Sydney's titties.
Was the First Omen released in theaters?
Well, and
Yeah,
Sydney
it was.
Sweeney
Well-
just as a nun, so
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is she doesn't actually show the titties, which was big points down in my book because it's like,
Dude,
At
they
least
put
have
her
that
in
going for your movie.
water. They put her in whited water. So
Yeah.
they're like, I don't know, they're clear as day sometimes.
All
not
right,
clear
next
enough.
Movie. Next movie. Next movie.
We love
now,
We love it.
yeah, okay, we love it. Okay, all right.
Above First Omen, below the substance.
Agreed.
One of
However-
the few movies this year I've watched more than twice. I really am growing to love this movie a lot. And I loved it the first time, but it's an awesome movie. I really enjoy it.
I thought I was going to have to fight for this one with you guys because I know
no.
the third act is very divisive amongst fans about it.
No,
I loved it from start to finish.
I
thought
do
it was
too.
great, creative choice on it.
I totally agree. Genuinely, my only issue with the movie that I can 100% overlook is just the third act, the why it's being filmed, like the angles and stuff. You know, it just doesn't make sense in context of the situation that it's being framed so well, and why there's so many recordings and stuff like that. But I really don't care because I think it works. You know.
See, I thought that switching the kit because like it breaks the found footage idea, right?
Yes,
but I
it
liked
does.
the switch to like the I guess
Black and white.
Yeah, and then the traditional camera, we'll say, I thought was just more reflective of kind of the bits of insanity that he was feeling. So it kind of helps amplify those emotions. I was totally fine with that switch. I don't know why that's divisive with people, but
No, it's not.
I love
Like, I think it like I just it's something weird to me that in context of the film, but I don't mind it at all.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, so
I was really happy that this movie did live up to its trailer because I thought the trailer looked fantastic. And you'll have to help me with the last name of the guy, but I was really glad he got to showcase his ability because he's fantastic in it.
Dalmatian. Dalmatian. I worked on a indie film with him way before he blew up. He's very nice. He's a very sweet guy. When this came out, I messaged him because we're still Facebook friends. I was like,
"Oh, cool!
Your movie's so cool! Like this, great reviews on it." So he's sweet. He's such a nice guy. Like a lot of people in this industry are weird. Every single time I've met David up until such a sweetheart. Like watching his career blow up, I love it. Love it. Big support. And anytime he's like randomly put in movies, like I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Well,
Why is David
Chris Nolan definitely likes him a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I actually was rewatching Oppenheimer today actually at work, and he's got a fairly prominent role even in that.
Yeah. All right. So the next movie I have 2 clips. Okay. So we're gonna start with the first one.
I'd fuck you.
No, Mrs. Claus would shank me in my sleep.
My wife's dead.
Okay.
and then I have I'm definitely going to put this movie as We Love It.
Yes, we love it. We love it.
I mean, okay, if I was based on my score, I would more put it in an I like it. I think it's a 7 out of 10 movie. I don't want to play the damper to enthusiasm because I mean it is a really, really fun movie and I am excited for its success. I think I actually, as a slasher franchise, this is better than almost all of them. Maybe actually all of them. Like I think Terrifier 3 is better than almost any slasher movie I've ever seen. Including the original Halloween, by the way, which is overrated as crap. But it's not a good movie. I'm sorry, and I'm trying to make a video to kind of explain why. But yeah, I think I would just put it in the I like it category. But if y'all want to put it in I love it, I'm not going to fight too hard on that.
I'm a anti Terrifier person. I don't like the first one. I like only half of the second one. I really enjoyed the third one, weirdly, but to me, I think you have to be with a crowd to enjoy it to its like peak. Like I loved being in a theater with other people laughing, and because like nobody screamed during this movie, everybody laughed during this entire movie, which was kind of morbid a little bit now that I think about it.
This is
like,
just like
here.
Oh, go ahead.
It was just like we're hearing really offensive like stand-up comedy, you know, like everyone's just enjoying it, even though they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
This movie is just like it's such an improvement over the second one. First of all, it doesn't seem to lose any of its like what made it so iconic in the slasher genre as well. There's a lot of funny moments that stand out, like when that weird fangirl chick is talking about being in Art's presence and he's standing outside the door and he's like, oh shucks, you know. So I loved this movie. Like objectively, it's maybe a 7 or 8. out of 10, but I love this franchise, and this movie was so much fun to watch. So
the
it's
part where he keeps walking past Sienna, which by the way, Sienna, I love
Slapping
Sienna.
her head.
She's smoking hot and she's one of the best final girls ever, but he keeps slapping the back of her head. I was dying. It was cracking me. What a performance by that guy. He's good.
I think on technicality though, it should be at the bottom of this list right here on the We Love It if we're looking at it 8, because I think the other 3 movies overall are a better film with filmmaking, where I think Terrifier is just, it's up there because of the experience it has.
Agreed.
And then
I would agree.
Okay. All right. So next movie. I can't believe I'm going to play this clip. Hold on.
Is it the pussy clip?
Yes.
I can smell your nappy pussy.
This is a
okay. That's the entirety of what I've seen of this movie. So is it too much to say I love it?
I thought it was going to be hot garbage, and I was pleasantly surprised it wasn't that terrible. It is, kind of on the so bad it's good quality.
Yeah,
but it
I
also
could see that. Yeah.
it also wasn't like mindless nonsense. It was trying to, it had a good message about family and single black mothers and stuff like that. It was trying to say stuff. But yeah,
It just
it's kind of
didn't
like
execute it
Tyler
right.
Perry. Tyler Perry's Hereditary is how I describe it.
What are you talking about? This movie was absolute garbage. Okay, so this is supposed to be based off of the
It's
Zach
garbage.
Bagans Hell House that was torn down in Indiana. It starts off as like, I'm a proud black woman that plays into every black stereotype. Then
Yeah.
it switches into a haunted house movie halfway into the movie. This was this movie. Made
I
no
said
sense
so bad it's
whatsoever.
good. I said it was I admit it's trash.
Okay. I take my comment back. But fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. No, this was terrible.
It had an interesting premise because I would like to see more possession type movies in different type of settings, like an urban setting and stuff, but it just did not execute well. I was laughing the entire time because of how bad this movie. To me, this is a fuck this, or it could be at the bottom of the meh list.
I was
One of the
watching this with my dad, and he just looked at me and said, "What the hell is this?"
So this is a fuck this.
I was
I actually think it might be worse.
Good fuck
than,
this.
It's definitely not worse than Night Swim, but I think it's this.
It's close.
Right there.
It's close.
That's where I would put it. Okay.
Fair.
All right.
But is there a better line in a horror movie this year than that?
Yes, there is. Let me in now. It can be nice.
I can smell your nappy pussy.
Her reaction is what really sells the comedy right there.
The little music note at the end of
Poor
that.
Glenn Close, man. I'm like the outfits they made her wear during that movie. I'm just like, what is going on here? All right, next.
Don't forget, this is the Lee Daniels movie. Okay,
That is my.
I don't know why I found
we
that
love
movie
it.
with that music over it because it's the only clip I
I
could
was
find.
gonna
of that.
ask. I don't think that was in the movie. But
That's not the music's not. It's not.
Like one of Lance's raids.
I've been to raves like that. People just partying in the woods, just getting weird.
just trying to summon a demon and shit. Mm-hmm.
Dude, I would put this above Late Night with the Devil and below The Substance. This movie blew me away, and I had no idea about it until this movie rocked.
Agreed.
This
I don't
movie's
know.
like,
I
why
think-
would
I would go
terrify
just
me?
below Late Night with the Devil, but only on. I'm only on one viewing. I watched this last night. It was great though.
This movie's actually scary though. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Like unlike Loop Track, which feels like two separate movies, because both of those movies do 180s. The 180 this movie does is Justified, and it is freaking wild.
Yeah, it's
I
also a
think
really dense horror movie. It's dense. It's got a lot going on.
It's the only movie this year to terrify me. I have been looking for a movie to scare me, to make me like turn the lights on when I'm walking up to my bedroom and stuff, and this is the only one to do it this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree. The last film that actually scared me to the point where even today I really want to rewatch it, but I can't, is The Wailing. The Wailing to me is probably one of the most
yes.
terrifying
Cool.
films I've ever seen. And this, I think I recommended this one to you guys, Exhuma, because I was like, hey guys, go watch Exhuma. It just came out. I'm watching it. It's really, really good. That was like a couple of months ago.
You
But
can
yeah,
buy it
I
on
think,
Amazon for $5 right now.
You can stream it on Shudder, I believe, or Prime, one of the two.
Yeah, it's on Shudder. Yeah.
Shudder is
Yeah.
probably one of the best streaming services for horror
For
fans.
real.
man.
Oh my God.
Man.
Yeah, I didn't realize like the image of a 10-foot tall like samurai demon would be so scary, but it is. It's like, oh
But
my
they
god.
executed so well. Like if you would read this on paper, you'd be like, "What the fuck? No way! This is not
Sounds
going
very
to."
Asian.
You know,
Yeah.
well, the thing I love about Asian film is they do not apologize for the cultural aspects of their filmmaking at all. They do not try to over explain everything. They lean hard into their culture with their filmmaking, and it adds like a certain mystique to their movies that I think only foreign films can accomplish.
Yeah, I also did not know the history between the Koreans and the Japanese.
Oh,
and that it's a different level added into this horror movie because of it being a Japanese spirit, but it's a Korean like storyline, the Korean family. So it adds just a more level to it. It makes me want to go back and rewatch it, even though I'm terrified of it. It's just subtly does it so well.
There's a ton of layers that you can peel off. It's really good.
Yeah, and like if an American studio were to try to do the same thing, blending two, like again, this does feel like two films, but it works seamlessly. You would not get any of the cultural and religious subtext really adds to it. This I wouldn't even say this is like top 5 horror. This is like top 5 best movies of the year. Exhuma.
Yes,
this was so good.
Yeah.
So
badass.
good.
All right, we're gonna go the opposite route on this one.
Crockett!
Buster.
Fuck this.
You get it? Why she said
Night Common.
Buster.
I am a fuck this. It was MaXXXine is probably the biggest disappointment I had all year. Because I really like X. I'm okay with Pearl. I think Pearl's okay.
I didn't watch Pearl.
I think
okay.
Pearl is freaking brilliant. I love Pearl.
I like X more, just like a slight more. To me, it goes X.
I get that. I know a lot of people who prefer X, but I think Pearl is one of my favorite horror movies of the last decade. I really, really loved that movie. This one, okay, I agree. This movie's a huge letdown. I don't think it's in the same bottom tier category as the other ones necessarily. I think it has a decent amount of redeeming elements, but it is a massive step down. It is a bad movie. I would say that much. It's a bad film.
The reason I would put it in, because like normally I would agree with you. Maybe it's like meh or it's all right, but it's because Ty West sets the bar so high with X and Pearl, which now I get why you would like X, because like X and Pearl are two vastly different films. Like it's right, but it's just like he set the bar so high with those. So like going into this, you're thinking, oh my god, okay, we're going to get probably something similar to X, but instead of leaning into the 70s vibe, now we're leaning into that hard 80s vibe, right? And things are just going to get wackier because, you know, drugs are getting really popular during then. Instead, it's just like a mishmash of all of these ideas that he had. Like the fact that they had the psycho house in there, but it wasn't used at all is laughable. And that was like a core element in basically every trailer and every promo and multiple interviews that Ty West did as well. That house came up. So this film doesn't really go anywhere. If anything, it just opens the door to something else that it really didn't, with the whole, oh, my dad's actually not dead or not in this cult doing his own thing. He's actually sort of like hunting me down or some shit like that and going after other people. So this is probably my most disappointing film of the year because the hype was real. It really was.
I almost feel like this movie, it's almost like if you were to give somebody a really cool Lego set and they would just dump it out and not attach any of the pieces. That's what this, like, there's the elements of a good, maybe even great movie are all there. Your casting, like, you know, the look of the movie, I think is really, really cool. You know, I love the music in the film. It's like, there's a lot of good superficial stuff. And I feel like there's a lot that you could have done with this, and they don't do any of it. And what ultimately ends up happening in the movie, like, gosh, like the way they off Kevin Bacon's character to absolutely no consequence. And there's so much of that going on. Just no consequence.
My biggest problem with
it is. I'm like, this is
no
weird.
consequences whatsoever for anything she does. Like nothing. There is nothing at stake. She just gets away with it. So it's not entertaining to me. There's no pushback on it.
Yeah, it's a low stakes movie masquerading as high stakes.
Yeah, it's interesting because I wasn't even incredibly hyped for this movie like at all. So I can't say that I was disappointed because I had no expectations going in. But it was just a very okay. That was it. All right. Yeah, that was my reaction when I finished watching. I was like, all right, well, okay. What a way to cap off a trilogy, I guess. Yeah, it was mostly confusion more than disappointment. But I don't know. I think Ty West is a director. I hope the next thing that he does is actually good.
Yeah, I hope he's done with this world. I hope he's done with
Yeah,
this.
because I liked X. I didn't like X like a ton. Pearl. I liked it. I really liked Pearl because it's a period that I like in cinema, and so that's biased from my side, of course. But the only time I really liked a Ty West movie was when he did You're Next, and like he got an arrow shot to the head, basically, like the beginning of the movie, and that was it.
Nah, man, Ty West, I love House of the Devil. House of the Devil rocks, man. And I think both X and MaXXXine, like I said, I didn't see Pearl. I think those are like definitely a few steps down from that one. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I liked MaXXXine more than X, or at least on par. But again, I thought they're both like, all right. I would have put it in the meh. I mean, like I said, Kevin Bacon's great as a villain, even though he gets kind of unceremoniously. I did like when he was like wounded for a big chunk of the movie and he's all pissed at her. But like you said, like she's basically wreaking havoc on LA, and nothing seems to happen to her. Because I guess she's like an aspiring movie star or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's some great kills and stuff in it, and but the whole big end with the father and the religious cult and daddy didn't love me kind of stuff, or loved me too much, whatever. I don't know. I'm tired of hearing that shit. So I would have put it in meh, but
meh. That's where I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's more meh. I think if it's on in the background, you're doing something, that's fine. I don't see it as like it wasn't unwatchable like some of the others. But where on the meh list is it going?
I say behind Abigail. Sorry, behind, worse than Abigail.
Yeah, it's worse than Abigail.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. Next one is Never Let Go, which I did not see, but I think
I watched it last night. It was stupid.
Is it fuck this?
Yeah,
I'd say so. Which is a shame. I don't know. Below Immaculate, maybe. No, put it below Tarot. Actually, Tarot's more entertaining for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, that's a good ranking. Did anyone else see this? Sorry,
I did.
No,
aside from us, Enzo, did anyone else on the panel watch this?
No, I didn't.
I saw the poster when I went to the cinema, but I didn't even know this was out.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember. There was another movie that did this similar idea, but it did it way better.
The Watchers.
Pardon?
Maybe,
okay, it might have been maybe The Watchers.
We don't even have on the list.
Wasn't it Bird Box, the Sandra Bullock movie?
That could have been it too.
I wouldn't say it's close to Bird Box. It just there's all of the scares are revealed in the trailer. There's it's all one of those like, it's all in your head sort of deal things. They try to Arcadian. It reminded me of Arcadian.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
I was getting like the Village vibes from this, especially at the end. You're like, oh god.
Yeah, it just it doesn't execute the family elements very well. Halle Berry, I mean, she's okay in it. It's definitely not her best performance by any means. The story really lulls along for a very long time, and there's nothing really scary that actually happens. I would say the scariest part is when they're trying to decide whether they should eat the dog because they're starving. That's about it.
That was sad. It wasn't even scary. I was like, dude,
I know.
Are they gonna kill this dog? The dog's just like, oh, hey, what's going on?
Right.
Spoilers, they don't kill the dog. The dog's fine. But that's the thing, is the movie had no teeth, which is the same because Alexander Aja. When I hear Alexander Aja, I used to think, this movie's gonna be gory.
Yeah.
Great effects and shit. It wasn't. It was
Wait, he made the movie?
Yeah.
He did. This is one of his movies, yep.
But it's a Netflix movie, so that also explains why it's probably bad,
Is it?
No, it came out in theaters, dude.
Oh.
Theaters.
I'm thinking of another one then.
Yeah. No, the
Probably
best. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't move. Yeah. The best effect in this movie was spoiled in the trailer, and that was also what could have been one of the scariest parts of the movie. But even then, there's no legitimate build up to that, and it gets kind of like lost in the sauce of like, oh, here's two brothers that are fighting or something like that. So yeah.
Is the scary part you're talking about like the centipede girl?
The hands on the trees.
Yeah, that was the only part that I thought was cool. Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool.
And it was in the trailer. Yeah,
it was in the trailer. Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the next movie. This is a we love it for me.
Yeah.
This is my movie of the year.
I do love this movie. Like, I think it's probably like maybe other than Terrifier 3, it's probably the most flawed of the We Love It because it has a very lackluster screenplay, but everything else about the movie I really loved. And it's a shockingly based movie too.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap, this movie. I was like, I'm kind of stunned this movie got made. But yeah, I love the heck out of this one. This Strange Darling's awesome.
The only thing that brought down this film for me, because like it's not a very original idea, but the way that they've decided to cut it up is what makes it so great. But the dialogue, the romance dialogue, is just what brings it down for me. Because at no point does it feel like there's a genuine, even sexual chemistry going on between them. They have a far better chemistry when they're running and hunting each other than when they're trying to bone each other. So that's the only thing that brings this movie down.
Yeah. Tell me more. Yeah. This is number one for me. To me, this is above the substance, but I'm willing to move it on. But I think it does have to go on the We Love It.
Yeah,
I'm obviously fine with that. I do love this movie. I think it's.
I put it at the bottom of the We Love It. I mean, just because I like Terrifier 3, I'd be fine with putting it, over First Omen or even Late Night with the Devil for me. But yeah,
I think it should go after Terrifier 3.
That's where I would put it. That's where I'd put it, but I'd be comfortable with being anywhere except the top spot.
I'm just fine as it's on the list for We Love It because literally I love this movie. I think Kyle Ganner's great in it. I honestly think his segment in Smile 2 is the only good part of that movie too, as well, this year. So I love it. All right, next movie. I did not see it. Don't have a clip for it. Sting.
No, I haven't seen it.
I put it in It's All Right because it was, like I said, it was better than Infested. It's one big spider, but it's cool because it actually has like this one family. It's got this kind of like heart to it. You kind of feel sorry for the spider or empathize with the spider. You also feel sorry. You want the family. You want the family to do better and take care of it. But like the spider's obviously bad news. But then again, the spider isn't like evil. And the girl has like a relationship with it. It's like a pet gone crazy kind of vibe, So I thought it had more emotional resonance, and it was actually a horror movie. Like there's like legit, like it's filmed and edited like a horror movie. It's great, but also one big spider is scarier than a bunch of
I'm gonna. Did anyone else on this panel aside from Enzo and I see it?
No.
Nope.
I haven't seen it.
I'll put it in It's All Right as well. I don't know. This might be a double whammy because it's an alien spider, Nadia. So I don't know if you'll want to watch it. Then,
no, I'll never watch it. Never watch it. I got my adrenaline. I was going to watch it if I did not find something that would terrify me this year. Exhuma did it, so spiders are out. Okay. Yes.
That's all right. Yeah, it's I agree with Enzo. There's a little more emotional resonance. I think the pacing is really good. The build-up is good. It has this nice balance between kind of like B movie horror, but like there's bits of comedy that work well within it. And I did appreciate the practical spider effect at the very end in the garbage chute. So
yeah.
King of Sandy says Sting is my guilty pleasure movie of the year.
Okay. It's fun. It's not a perfect movie, but it's definitely a fun watch.
Yeah.
Speaking of not a perfect movie.
I'd love to do that to M. I'd love to do that to M. Night Shyamalan after this piece of crap.
Trap was crap, man. The best compliment I ever got on my review of it was like, "Oh my god, an honest movie reviewer," because everybody else has been sucking the dick of this movie, and
I don't get it at all.
I don't.
It's a serial killer movie where nobody gets killed.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just, to me, it's next to Night Swim. Like I would rather watch The Deliverance again before I watch this movie again.
It's the Shyamalan dialogue that is just I'm so over it. It is better than
Looks
I didn't
so
see the
bad.
Cabin movie he did, but it's way better than some of his last movies, like Old.
It's worse. It is
and-
worse than Knock at the Cabin.
Knock
It
at
is
the
worse
Cabin.
than
Knock
that.
at the Cabin at least is
Knock at
not
the
is
Cabin was
based off
okay.
a book. It's based
Okay.
off a book, so it's not his own writing. So he has a source
Oh,
material to
okay.
go after. I
So
actually
that
have the
explains
book.
it.
Yeah,
So
it's
I mean,
actually much better.
I'd place Trap at.
Crap,
Oh
you
man,
mean?
like I really want to put this at F this, but Josh Hartnett, dude, I
He
just have
does
a
do
hard
great.
on
Doesn't matter.
for
He
him.
doesn't even save it. I love Josh
Um,
Hartnett, but he does not save it.
I
for
think
me.
he's doing what he can with a really terrible part. Because
Yeah.
what bugs me about his role is that, and he's trying to sell it, but what Shyamalan thinks how a serial killer would attempt to act normal is just his whole, my characters are quirky coming out again.
Right.
Because that's
Well,
every one of his freaking movies is I characterize with quirks. And every time Josh Hartnett is trying hard to act normal, it just comes off as quirky.
Yeah.
But it's such a bad movie. The ending, like all the stuff the
the
wife
ending is
knew, just getting
horrendous, dude.
dropped on you at the end like that. I'm like, this is so freaking retarded. And then like at the end where like he starts messing with the bike and she's like, don't shoot and everything. I'm like, no, why wouldn't you shoot him? He's a serial killer.
You know what the concept? I think Vex, you'll agree with me if you have seen it. The Guest, I think The Guest does sort of the
Way
the
better.
trap
Guest.
stuff
Oh, yes.
Way better.
Way better.
And it even has the same sort of ending, where you're like, oh, okay, he might escape. It's like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. So yeah, I think The Guest is like a better version of Trap. Much better version.
Well,
of Trap.
I think like what Gordon was saying, like I don't think M. Night Shyamalan does research because not only does he not know how cops and robbers and serial killers work, but he has no idea how like events are thrown. I worked at the Irwin Center for like 11 years. It's like, dude, there's so many like, dude, what? Like you can't just like walk around like that and I don't know. There's just so many.
I think if they kept it in the concert, I think if they stayed in the concert, they could have had a better movie.
Yeah, once they leave the concert, it goes downhill big time.
The reason this movie exists is so he can promote his daughter. That is what this is, a commercial for what's her face. I don't know her actual name, but the whole movie became a showcase for her, and it became increasingly obvious that like when they actually turned her into the hero of the film, I was like, no celebrity is going to go out of their way to save somebody's life,
right?
To actually put their life on the line. It's like they're not that kind of people. Give me a freaking break.
The scene with the dialogue between where M. Night put himself and Josh Hartnett is so horrendous.
Yeah.
Like that dialogue is just it took me completely out of it. I almost walked out during that
probably
dialogue.
M. Night's worst performance in one of his own movies.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah, that's saying a ton, dude.
Next one I have, which I have not seen, I think only maybe Enzo, Daddy's Head.
Oh yeah, am I the only one that saw it? It's a weird movie. It was freaky though. It freaked me out.
Elijah Wood's movie?
No, you're thinking of I don't know. When you say his movie, did he produce it or direct it? I have no idea.
Oh, I think he produced
It's
it.
a Shudder exclusive.
Well, here's the thing.
It came out like a couple weeks ago. Like that's I really want to watch it though because it looks.
It's
looks
basically
good.
the Babadook, but it's kind of like the Babadook. I mean, you got like a weird monster that's a metaphor for a loss of the father in the family. But what's interesting is like you've got like stepmom taking care of not her son because father's dead. And then a bunch of creepy shit starts happening with like some creature running around that looks like dad. And it's fucking creepy, man. Not necessarily like a great movie, really fun horror movie though. I had a fun time watching it. Because not a lot of shit scares me, guys. I'm sorry, but when I'm watching a movie alone at the house and one of these horror movies and it actually creeps me out, like gets a lot of points for that, whether it's a shitty movie or not. So I mean, I would put it at least in it's all right. But then again, it's hard to say until you guys see. I mean, like we'll get
trust
average it
you,
out.
Enzo. Are we putting it before Sting or after Sting?
After Sting.
After Sting. Okay.
Because it's a pretty metaphorical movie, pretty loose on the actual plot. It's one of the like the Babadook. It's like it's open to your interpretation kind of thing. But it was wild.
I'll check it out. It looked. I just didn't have time. Like I didn't see Mads either, which is on this list too. But we're almost there, guys. I know we got 1, 2, 3. We're getting up there. We're getting up there. We got this.
Don't worry, man. I have time.
Next one is Oddity, which is a fuck this shit for me.
Yeah, agreed.
I would put it in meh because I think the
Same.
first half of it is really good, but holy like okay, if I'm going to use a football metaphor, because like occasionally you'll see players, these really dumb players, they'll have the ball, they'll get a yard from the end zone, and to celebrate they'll just drop the ball, but they'll drop it a yard short, so it's a turnover. That's this movie. The first half of this movie is really interesting. It's really intriguing. The atmosphere is great. The performances are great. It's like I was really invested for the first half of this, and the bottom literally drops out of it. Like not even figuratively, it literally does. It is.
Where is it going?
I could not believe how far down this movie dropped from that first half. I mean, I would put it in meh for what it does right.
Yeah.
But
I put it at the bottom.
Holy crap, this movie fumbled the ball hard.
Yeah. And I hate how the ending is the very end is weird. Again, they try to do, I think they're trying to do, I hope they're not trying to do a franchise.
I think if the second half of this movie was as good as the first half, this would be in the I love it category.
Yeah.
And it took a nosedive.
The concept's cool. I would have liked a little bit more on her oddity shop, like maybe expand more on the wooden. I think the problem lies with a couple of these movies, two different storylines that are kind of similar, but they don't overlap well together.
This could have been a good anthology.
Nothing pays off in this movie. Nothing.
Agreed. Yeah. This movie introduced a lot of interesting elements that like it doesn't come together. It doesn't work together so it's like, okay, she's blind, but what's so interesting about her being blind? Not revealed. Okay, why is this wood guy so cool? Not revealed. What was the purpose of this trap door aside from setting up a convenient kill at the end of the movie? Not revealed.
Trap door was the payoff to her being blind. That's a stupid thing.
It was the reason why it gets points down is the plot conveniences and the predictability. There's no red herring. It's like it's pretty much all who we thought it was going to be, you know. And
exactly.
You're like, okay, all right.
I will
not creepy at all.
The tent kill, like I felt like they did build up the tension pretty good to that, even though like I knew what was going to happen and I knew who it was going to be. I was like, I still jumped a little bit when it happened, but yeah, what a missed opportunity for this. I don't get the hype whatsoever. Y'all must have dents in your heads, seriously.
Yeah, Oddity did get me a jump scare at the early half of the movie, first half of the movie. It did get me.
Is it when the wooden monster looked up at her?
Yeah, one of those moments where he did something like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's the only moment that I was like, oh, that was a cool shot, but it doesn't make up for the terrible movie that this is.
No, I agree.
All right, next one. This is an all right for me.
Same.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
I'd put it in we like it just because I feel like what it does with the
you have a crush.
You have a crush though. I don't take your
I mean, she looks pretty dang good in this movie.
I'll say two things. I may be biased. So number one, I was violently baked in the cinema watching.
Violently.
Number two,
I was baked on broil
on screen. So yeah, I mean, I was so big that I actually cracked my phone screen at the cinema.
Oh my god!
Wow. That sucks.
Yeah. But I
French
just
weed must be good, man.
and like I couldn't take my eyes off the screen, man, and not because of Naomi Scott. Okay, I think she's gorgeous, but I just think that what it does with the concept just furthers the horrors of the smile demon. Now, to me, that's great. However, I can separate it from what it does with the plot itself and put it in It's All Right. But for me, just the fact that it builds on the concept and makes it even more terrifying is why I would put it in We Like It.
Yeah.
If I may, I completely disagree with you, Uninspired. Okay, Naomi Scott's performance, okay, of all even like the stuff that we put in the We Love It tier, best performance of the year. First, like this girl should be getting so much more work.
Yes, agreed.
Aside from that,
she was the Power Ranger, man.
But she's been in like crap movies, man. Like this is the first like half decent movie she's been in.
True.
But like this movie basically rehashes Smile 1, but now it's a pop star angle. But like the pop star isn't relatable or likable because she's a pop star. So like the great thing about the chick in the first one was like, oh, she comes like her mom was mentally ill. She's kind of now made it her life's work to become a doctor and try to help people with that illness. She has like the potential to develop one herself. She has all these family problems, romantic problems. So there's like some relatability there, right? Which makes the smile demon kind of even scarier when you see him at the end. With this one, it's just like, oh, my mom forced me to become rich and I decided to do drugs and drive. So you have to feel sorry for me now.
The best part of this whole movie is the first like few minutes where with Kyle's part. That's about it.
Yeah. I also felt like I did appreciate the choreography, especially with like some of those like smile like illusion scares and whatnot.
Yeah.
But this movie just felt like it was dragging on and on and on. You knew what was going to happen at the end because of the whole pop star thing. It's like it's not the worst movie on this list, but it's just like also a movie. It's just like you didn't need to make this at all. So like I'd put it at it's all right.
Okay. No, I completely understand your like I don't agree, but I completely understand all your points, like 100%. I understand them for sure. But I just like one of the things I didn't like about the movie was the ending, man. Well, I like the ending, but I don't like the ending. If they make a third one, I will hate the ending of number 2.
I don't think there needed to be a second one, to be honest. Same beats, same story beats of it. I think it ruins the lore of the monster alone. I really think that they could have just kept this and they should have just did something else. Like if they wanted to stay within the genre. But
I was gonna say, like the ending, like I didn't mind the ending, but it was very clear that they had an ending in mind, and then we're just like, we need an actual script to get to this ending. Because like the ending, it's just like you can see that there's a clear direction. They know exactly what they want to happen. They know where it's going to happen. But it's like everything leading up to that is just kind of like, we got to fill runtime, guys. We got to try and make a plot just so we can get here.
So you see that's where I think the violently baked bias comes in, because I had no concept of time watching this movie. I was just like, yeah, this is really cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I actually liked the pop star setting angle a little bit more because of like the whole like I don't know the stuff they're saying about fake smiles and fans and people putting pressure on you and having to put on a smile on stage and all that stuff kind of worked. The movie it's too long. It definitely drags. It's got some great choreography. Like you said, the dance scenes were cool. The concert stuff was great. There's like a movie within a movie going on. But I mean, there was a really decent jump scare too in that movie with the stupid watching the video on the phone part. But I love this movie has like the Terminator 3 ending where you're like, okay, this movie's okay. It's kind of a remake or it's doing its own thing, but it's not as good as the other one. But then like the end of the world happens. Like that's kind of what happens in Smile too. You're like, wait a minute. That's bad what just happened, right? Is that bad? That's bad, right? So, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, Enzo, finish your thought.
I mean, basically, like, where does the third one go? I mean, I'm assuming they're going to make one, does the smile virus just like spread worldwide kind of, who knows?
I'm with Vex in this comment. I think the most scariest part was the weird fanned, like trail, like gonna grape her kind of deal happening. Yeah. Other than that, I'm just not impressed. Like I would never revisit this movie again.
Same. I think I need to. I mean, the thing is, I remember watching the first Smile and not liking it that much, and watching this one and thinking it was better. I don't know, but longer.
I think if I had not seen Smile 1 and I'd only seen Smile 2, I would like Smile 2 a lot more. Right. But because I've seen 1 and it's basically the same movie, I can't get on board with it.
It's because 1 is more how do I say this?
Grounded.
Smaller, yes, like smaller, grounded, but more intimate. Intimate is the word I'm looking for. Smile 1 is more intimate.
That's what I mean. It's relatable, right? So it actually does kind of like get you on the edge of your seat because of that relatability factor. I'm not really I don't feel any connection. I don't feel any intimacy with this character, and it's weird because there's moments where they could have built that up more. Like clearly there's tension with her mother. Clearly there's a lot of unresolved issues, not just with the accident, but with the guy that she killed in the accident that the film could have chosen to explore to make it a little more intimate and relatable, but they don't do that.
My biggest issue with this is that you're supposed to empathize with her, and she's an awful person. Like, a performance aside, she's an awful person, which plays into the opening where Joel was trying to give this thing to awful people, and it actually ends up with an awful person. Like, she's not a good person entirely throughout this whole thing. She's very selfish, very much about herself, and like Vex is saying, not relatable at all.
I see it. I'm a musician. I've been on that stage, that side of the curtain. You know, I've played some pretty big venues, and yeah, I definitely know. Like, I call it LSD, lead singer drama. It's always inevitable, man. When you get like, and yeah, this chick is like a nightmare. Yeah, it'd be a nightmare to work with her. Professionally, it'd be a nightmare to be, on her side of things, be a fan, be your friend. But that, yeah, she doesn't really have any redeeming qualities, so that's kind of why you don't feel as bad, when it just rehashes the first movie,
I was
Vex,
there.
do you have a
I
question?
was there for the ride, man.
Oh, sorry. My hand should not still be up. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Next one up is A Quiet Place Day 1.
I would put
this.
Man.
Yeah, I would say we like it. I think it's not a scary movie to me. It's more about the cycle of acceptance of our mortality and grief and what's really important, with some scary aliens in it. So I would put it in we like it or it's all right. That's where I would lay it.
I would say if like quality wise, it's not. I would say it's the weakest of the three, but it's not necessarily all that far from the first two. But I think it's a cash grab. I would put it in meh. Like I didn't find it like offensively bad, but I
think it's better than the second one.
I did not care.
That's
about
where
this
I
movie
disagree
at
with
all.
you, man. I would probably say this is like, I have huge gripes with the first one. That this one is just like, okay. This to me is probably the best Quiet Place movie objectively. I like the first one. Don't get me wrong. I think the first one is a cool movie. I really like it, but it has too many issues that stack up. Number two is just,
this one's definitely got its fair share because it definitely plays fast and loose with its. I mean,
they
scene where like
they
the
edited
huge
out
crowd starts
some-
walking down the street. I'm like, you people are
They
idiots. I don't
edited
think
out
for
a bunch
all
of
you.
stuff for this movie. Like, when I initially watched it in theaters, I'm like, why is this guy following this woman instead of going to safety? Like, it doesn't make sense. But they removed the fact that he was getting ready to off himself when the attack happened. So adding a little bit more layers to that character instead of just this random dude that's just like, yeah, instead of going towards safety, I'm going to follow this random woman. I don't know.
And honestly, like the whole pizza angle thing, I hate when movies do this, where they're presenting this idea like the motivation is something like really, really simple, but then you find out there's a deeper reason behind it, but they just don't tell you forever. I always find that really, really annoying, to the point where I was almost hoping, no, she just really wants pizza. That's it. I was almost hoping that's all. I was almost hoping that was the motivation. No, she just really wants pizza before she dies. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't offensively bad. It was just, I don't think any of the Quiet Place movies are really good. So I watched it. I was just like, okay, it's over. I'll never watch this again. It was just me.
Yeah, I think this to me like is probably the only Quiet Place movie that I'd rewatch. I think the second one I'd only watch like I'd go on YouTube and check my favorite scenes, but I wouldn't rewatch the entire movie. And the first one, every time I rewatch it, I just hate it even more. This one at least is kind of just, this is what I would call basically a streamlined A Quiet Place. It's
So where do you think?
No, I'd say we like it. I'd say we like it. But if Gord wants to put it in, it's all right. I'd put it above.
I mean, I'm at meh, so I mean, you can meet in the middle there, I guess. Yeah, I have it down at meh. I scored it. My score was pretty low for it. I had like a 3 out of 10.
I think it's either before or after Smile.
I'll put it before. I'll put it after Sting.
After Sting?
Yeah. Oh no, my bad. On the left of Sting. Yes. Behind Smile.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Again, I don't think it doesn't chime up to. So the first one I can say is a little bit more horror elements. It's scarier, right? The concept of it. Second one, it was all right. This one, again, not that scary. It's more of a human story.
Yeah, it's
I
more
would
of
say.
a journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like the first one, even though it has gobs of issues, and I agree it gets worse the more you watch it. The thing that grabs me with the first one is the family and that whole dynamic that they've got going. That makes me care at least. The second one, I find incredibly forgettable. So this one very well may be better than the second, because I've never bothered to revisit the second one. I just was like, eh.
Don't
But this
bother.
one just did not move me at all. I was just like, okay, well, that's over.
Well, next up, go ahead.
I hate to say this. I was like, yeah, I'm mistaken. This one and 2 others on this list I did not see. So I failed you guys. Failed
It's
you.
okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
A Quiet Fart, the parody that Vex wants.
Yep.
Next one I think is going to be a heated conversation because it's The Devil's Bath, and I think this is a fuck this movie. I did not like it.
Okay. You clearly are in a bad headspace, Nadia. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. This movie was so boring. The pacing was just dragging on. There was nothing scary about it. I was like, what the? What?
Well, I agree. It's not a scary movie because I don't really think this is a horror movie. It's got horror elements to its atmosphere. Like its atmosphere is kind of reminiscent of something like The Witch. So like when I kind of, well, no, The Witch is definitely scary. I'm just saying the atmosphere is similar. But I mean, like the horror thing that the movie does have going is they're basically, this is a cult commune pretty much. I think it's a good movie though. I would put it in the like category. I think it's a good movie. I would rewatch it. Thought it was definitely an interesting film. I agree it's not scary, but it is disturbing at times. But I like it. That's pretty good.
I agree with you, Gord. I would put it in the love it, but I can settle for a like it. I like the historical background because if you look into all the stuff this film is based on, it's all true, which I think adds to the creep factor. Also, the chick that plays the lead actress, I can't remember the character's name. She was originally hired just to do the music, and then the actual lead actress dropped out, and they're just like, "Hey, want to act and do the music?" And she accepted.
Dang.
And so is it like I don't know if you guys have seen this movie, You Won't Be Alone. It's with Numi Rapace. It came out in 2022.
I think I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
It's basically her that plays like a witch in the olden times, and it's more of a story of self-discovery and feminism in a good way, in a very, very good way, rather than it is a horror movie, although it has horror elements. Is this the same sort of movie?
I think it's boring as shit.
This takes place in Austria, like four.
I would watch Night Swim over this movie.
Okay, she's crazy.
The wig I thought this movie was cool.
Not my
type. So yeah, it's like it takes place like 400 years ago in Austria. Essentially, this woman is sent to marry off someone else in a new clan. She's kind of infantile. She's very not immature. What's the word I'm looking for? Naive, thank you. So she doesn't really know how the world works outside of just her own family. And so as she tries to integrate in with her husband and their clan, it's just more and more she's kind of creating problems because of her inability to try and adapt or do things right. And then there's this whole other thing where it's just like she needs to get pregnant and have a child. So there's a motherhood undercurrent of how, women used to treat children if they were mentally unstable and whatnot during that time period. It's just very tense. It's not horror. But I'm a sucker for like those slow burn dramas that just kind of build on atmosphere. So I think that's
it is kind of like
basically she's trying to have a relatively normal marriage for that time, but like the mother-in-law is extremely domineering. Her
husband doesn't fuck her.
Her husband's like a closet homosexual, basically. She's seeing like, there's other women in the community that are having babies, and she thinks, that'll give her something to do. She wants to be a mother. And the movie starts with this moment where something truly terrible happens, and it's kind of that shot. It's like kind of the shot with the arrow, and that arrow's kind of carrying the tension throughout, because you're just like, well, if that's the beginning, and whoever this woman was driven to do that, what's this woman going to be driven to do? Because you can tell that's kind of what that's there for, is to set up that she's going to go crazy and do something rash.
Yeah, I mean, I would be fine putting it in. I liked it. I love this movie. Folk horror is great, and it's a vibe. Yes. But I've been recommending this older one from a few years back, kind of similar. It's like an anthology, but it's called Hagazusa.
Oh yeah, dude, that's actually a good movie.
It's on my list.
Hagazusa rocks. This one is like a more slower, like kind of historically accurate, kind of like Hagazusa. It feels like it could be one of the stories in Hagazusa.
Hagazusa is great, man. I
Hagazusa
really like
rules,
that
man.
movie.
But this one was, pretty cool, and it's one of these movies where I can summarize the movie in 2 sentences and spoil everything about it. You know, and it doesn't really have this rewatchability factor, but it was a fresh story, and it was cool once the big reveal is what happens at the end, like why she's going crazy. You're like, God damn. Oh.
I put in we
Bummer.
like it because I know I'm going to be outvoted on this one. So
That's okay. I can settle for we like it.
Yeah. Because fuck this movie. I hated every second of it. So boring. I had to I started it and then I stopped it, and then I had to go back and watch it, and I was like,
We'll see if you like Hagazusa.
I will.
Everybody.
But this movie was just Anyway,
Hagazusa is a bit faster paced, so you'll like it.
Mads, I did not see it. I didn't get a chance. Who saw it?
Me neither.
I saw it. I actually watched that this morning. It's the last movie I watched.
I'll go for we like it.
I like it. Yeah,
I like it.
Yep.
Okay.
It probably the thing I appreciated about it is that it's one shot technique is not a gimmick. It actually adds kind of a documentary type feel to what's going on because it's all happening in real time. It's kind of
setting changes too.
Yeah, the setting changes, the focus changes 3 separate times. Each time it feels very natural. There's actually some pretty interesting stuff you can glean from why what's happening is happening. I would say it's not fully satisfying in that regard. It probably could have used a little bit more information to add to what's happening, but it's pretty cool. I definitely think it's worth checking out. It's a unique film. I liked it.
Question, what's it about?
It's like a subpar rave movie and a subpar zombie movie kind of clash together in this one take movie. But yeah, guys on the road to a rave.
Without spoiling, it's basically a guy. He goes to his dealer. He's going to a party, so he leaves his dealer to go home and then to get ready for the party. On the way home, he stops his car because he drops his cigarette, and it's a vintage car. And so while the car is stopped, someone comes into the car, very weird, disheveled person, and then the zombie movie happens. But the zombie movie is from the perspective of the main character, so you're just watching that person slowly transform into something. You don't know what it is. Even zombie is like a very loose term.
Yeah, it's almost more just it's an infection movie almost more than a zombie.
It is really interesting, man. Really interesting.
Kind of like 28 Days Later kind of vibe to it.
A little bit
more adrenaline.
It's much a little more intimate than that because it's primarily focused on individuals and whatnot.
You really have 3 characters. That's it.
Right.
That's pretty much it that you follow. And
what is cool is like the one shot stuff. Not a lot of shots where like, oh well, they obviously cut there. Oh, they obviously cut there. There's not a lot of like digital composites. They all. I mean, they're there, but like they don't really. I didn't really catch a lot of them.
Yeah, it was really hard to spot the cuts on this movie. Like it just flows. It flows really well. I definitely recommend it to anyone. Like it's unique. It's very unique.
Okay. Speaking of not unique.
No, Hattie!
Hey, let's go.
It's all right, boy. It's all right. You can still do it on your.
Fuck this movie.
By the way, my friend Gary texted me this morning. He's like, my brother, I've never seen the original, but my brother and I saw Speaking of Evil last night. We thought it was pretty good.
It's because he hasn't seen the original.
Yeah, if you didn't see the
That's
original.
why, yeah.
Disowned.
Yes. I think fuck this movie, and I would actually put it below Night Swim.
Agreed.
As far as just like quality wise, I wouldn't, but sheer visceral hate, it's probably the movie I like the least out of this whole lot. I hated this movie so much.
Honestly, I don't understand why this just could have been a shot-for-shot remake of the original. That would have been better, in all honesty. But like, there's too many things. Like, there's little things that they change that just don't make sense, and then there's things they keep that don't make sense. So there's no reason for an American child to be named Agnes and still be holding a stuffed animal at age 12. Like, that's just not how modern American children or even British children are. So, but then they add in stupid things like what's her face?
Girl boss Mackenzie Davis.
Yeah, the wife becomes a girl boss, and then the dude just he literally doesn't have a penis. Like, there's just a flesh hole there. It's And then there's guns involved. Why are there guns?
We did a 2-hour stream on this movie. This movie was a piece of crap.
Yeah.
This should never be made.
And this movie, unlike the first one, does a really good job of just kind of subtly building up why what's happening is happening. Lord. This one completely knocks you over the head with its themes for the entire film. It is
it tells you everything in the trailer already, you know? It's like
yes.
I hated this movie so much.
And I knew, because the original is so good that it allows the audience to be intelligent and doesn't give everything away. And the build up to the ending is just, when I saw it for the first time, didn't know anything about it. I saw the ending. I was like, oh my God, this is so bleak. And I knew they were going to do it for the American audience. They find us stupid. They have to lay every story beat out for us. No, it is a fuck this. Do not watch. Just watch the original. It
not only hits you over the head the entire movie, then it flat out tells you its theme at the end. It flat tells it to you. I'm like, screw this stupid.
Man, I hope Blumhouse just stops.
Now they're introducing AI. I think they're just next one is Beetlejuice.
Haven't seen the sequel. Haven't seen the original.
It is Beetlejuice is I didn't expect a lot from it, but it was significantly worse than I thought it would be.
I agree.
I didn't laugh but maybe one time, and the sad thing is what should have been the plot is baked into the movie, but it's a very small focus of it. Like, this movie really is, it lacks focus altogether, but it's such a mishmash.
Two storylines, and they could not give attention to each of them equally. So like, either follow the ex-wife's kind of storyline and expand on that, or follow the I can't even remember what the second
boy down the street angle.
The boy down the street,
the boy down the street angle should have been the movie, as far as I'm concerned.
To me, I agree. It's the stronger of the two. It didn't make sense. Like, half the time I forgot that the ex-wife was even a character in the movie until she actually popped up on screen. I'm like, oh. So to me, I would put this in fuck this or meh. Like, it's right around there for me.
I mean, I'd go. I mean, like, like Catherine O'Hara, Michael Keaton, the guy who plays the boy down the street, I think they all do a solid job in it with pretty rough material. I think Winona Ryder is completely phoning it in. The guy who plays her fiance he's in the movie so much, and he is so freaking annoying. He is not. He's not entertaining. He's not funny. He's an awful character.
Where are we?
And a lot of the novelty of the Land of the Dead is lost. I mean, like,
I like Trap more than Beetlejuice. I'm not,
I kind of did too. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of did too.
What sucks is I have so many normie friends that loved they liked Beetlejuice. I thought it was good. I'm like,
I've only heard good stuff about Beetlejuice, man. This is why I'm surprised hearing you guys speak negatively about it.
I think I laughed at one part when he's lip syncing to Bon Jovi and like we were in the raid in the cemetery or something. Or some song.
I laughed when, because you find
that's
out
where I laughed too. And
I think that was the only part.
The father from the first one died in a shark attack, and when they show his headstone is actually a shark fin, I laughed at that because that's something Delia would do. I was like, yeah, that's funny. That's a funny joke. I like that, but it's a sight gag more than anything. But that was the only part where I actually laughed.
And I love the first one so much. It is.
Same.
I watch it every Halloween. Sometimes I watch it throughout the year. I love it so much. To me, it's the more superior Halloween movie than Hocus Pocus. And this was just such a letdown. Again, if they had just decided on one of the two storylines and just focused on that, I think it would have been an all right sequel. But a lot of member berries, like, just scattered around, and it didn't work. It didn't work for me.
Is the first one worth a watch?
Absolutely.
First one's great. First one's a classic.
It's very dark. If you watch
funny.
it as an adult, it's funny. As a kid, it's fun. But when you watch it as an adult, you realize how dark it really is.
Well, it's like a fear that I have, like the idea, like if you believe like the egg theory of the universe, the idea that like you die and the work is just getting started. Like now your work really starts now that you've died. Like you have stuff to do in the afterlife is like, let alone like, remedial business jobs like filing paperwork and stuff like in the afterlife is like, nightmare.
And Monica Bellucci's character has no purpose in it whatsoever. She's there because she's dating the director. That is literally it. She has 3 scenes that are almost exactly the same, and then she shows up at the end, they beat her. It's like, oh, so There was no point to this whatsoever.
Money laundering 101.
Wait a minute. Max, do you have something to say?
Oh no, I'm just throwing in my 2 cents because Uninspired hasn't seen it yet. I just think Beetlejuice.
Sorry.
No, don't do
no
that.
way. We don't disrespect Beetlejuice on this stream.
But I can appreciate and respect its cultural impact and influence. So, like, I get why, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Beetlejuice is like to Tim Burton as to the album Dookie is to Green Day. Like, it's like, okay, this is like quintessential. But then like years later, he's just copying the same shit from the same movie. He's just doing that vibe still. It's like
really
Wes Anderson.
It really is. Yeah.
Vex, I have a better comeback for you. Hold on.
I can smell your nappy pussy.
You have to just keep that as a permanent clip on the channel.
I am. Some of these I'm keeping for sure.
Dude, every time I hear comeback, I think of Chris Pratt, man.
I have no way to segue into this movie, but I got to
My mother's name was Gertrude. Gertrude. I thought you were supposed to have more interesting names.
Who watched this besides me?
I did not.
What
I
is
didn't, but
I have been raving about this movie since I saw it like a month ago.
You have to buy it to watch it. It's not on any streaming services I have.
Indian Ocean. It's out there.
Devotion.
Yeah, down the Indian seas, you know. But it was fantastic. And here's the thing: I would be fine putting it into the we like it section because I loved it. I showed it to 5 other people, 3 ladies and 2 dudes. The 3 ladies and 1 guy loved it. 1 friend of mine thought it was shit. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I thought it was so awesome, unorthodox horror movie. Have you seen Duplex with Drew Barrymore and Ben? It's like that, but a horror movie. And when I say horror, it's basically in a nutshell, Brandy super pregnant, super woke. It's kind of a woke movie, or at least it's got woke characters. I still loved it. It's got this idea that like you pregnant woman, husband, strained relationship with the father and stepmother, father dies, stepmother, basically incontinent racist old lady has to move in with them. And, husband works, Brandy's pregnant. So it's just like a nightmare, but it's the promise of like, unlimited funds, you'll get the inheritance and all that stuff. So they have to put up with it for just a short while. How bad could it be? It's just such a great like character drama, also very limited budget, just a fresh idea that wouldn't have cost a lot of money to make, it's just a well-written, awesome script. And it's just like, holy shit, the lady who plays the mother-in-law, she's like a theater expert, like she runs theaters. She's got a few actor roles that she's gotten lately in her old age, but she's like primarily like a drama lady. Dude, her performance is Oscar worthy. It is amazing. She's so awful. Holy shit, dude. She blew me away. Also, she's like some Greek lady. She's got like an impronounceable name, and she changed her stage name to like Catherine Hunter or something like that, which was a good move. But dude, she just becomes this like Southern, scoliosis riddled old lady from hell.
A racist old lady.
And it's cool because you kind of relate to everybody, like Brandy at first is like all about it. The husband isn't. And then they do the role reversal towards the end because the mother's like manipulating, and running things. But also like the old lady, like, she's just like a racist old lady set in her ways. Is she really evil? Like, or is she just like an awful bitch? It's like, it's just one of those movies where it's not a horror movie, but it absolutely is a horror movie. So, I mean, I'd be fine putting it at the bottom of the We Like It list. I'm just glad it made the cut. So I would recommend it. Yeah, that and
I will check
Hagazusa.
it out. I'll check it out when it comes to like one of the streaming services I am subscribed to. I'm sure it will.
Brandy's great too. Yeah, Brandy's the main chick, and she was she can act, or at least act pissed off. Yeah.
Next one is Apartment 7A. I just watched a recap video on it because I really don't care to ruin Rosemary Baby for me. But who watched it?
I didn't have time to watch it. I wanted to watch it last night.
And so you're the only one?
It's too long.
I was bummed about this because, like I said, I thought First Omen was going to be shit. Apartment 7A was going to be good. First Omen is a better Rosemary's Baby prequel remake, than that. And the thing about Apartment 7A is it starts out really strong. It's kind of going the Suspiria route because it's like she's a dancer, the girl from Ozark. She's got like a leg injury that's holding her back. and then she
Julia Garner can't
yeah,
act outside of Ozark.
Yeah,
Sorry,
she wasn't that great. But she, it was a cool like Suspiria thing they were doing with like the dance recitals. But then like there's a specific moment where they meet the old couple from the original Rosemary's Baby in the same apartment. You could stay here for free, kind of. There's no catch except you gotta, give birth to Devil's Baby. Once they give her the Tannis root. Yeah, they give her the Tannis root necklace, and once that happens, it's just basically almost a note for note remake of Rosemary's Baby, but worse, And I feel like this movie was like marketed to the kids who haven't seen Rosemary's Baby, and I don't know. It's just one of those things. I would put it in the F this, maybe even the meh, at bottom of the meh.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like I said, I'd put
From
it.
what
Maybe...
I see, I would put it in the meh. From what I saw with the recap video on it, it just tells me Julia Garner just again can't act outside of Ozarks. That's it.
Props to like the set design and making it look like 1960s and all that stuff, and some other things. Like I said, the first act where she's a struggling dance artist, and she gets awarded this free apartment. It's like a blessing from God. Like that stuff was great. And then, like I said, once the Tannis root necklace shows up, it's just a remake, note for note.
Well, speaking of movies that are meh.
Damn it! Janet!
I fucking hated this movie. I don't get it.
I love this movie. This is one of my
me when he had to go get the guy's dick off another guy. It's just like
that was great.
No,
I quite like this movie, to be honest. I wouldn't go so far as to say I love it, but I would put this at the top of the we like personally. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was clever. It was funny. It had some good references thrown in there.
But
I would definitely watch this one again. It was Tim Burton meets John Hughes. It was a lot of fun.
I'd be down to put it at the bottom of we like or the top of it's all right. I've said this before. The one thing about that movie is it made me remember a song I totally forgot about, where they feature that song Up the Down Escalator. That was one of those things where I literally had to stop the movie and like find the song because I had it on a mixed TV CD in like high school. And it's like one of those songs I used to listen all the time, forgot all about it. So great soundtrack, and the ladies love it. I mean, it's I thought it was cute, kind of, it's fun.
I'll put it in we like it. Same.
I love this movie. This is like one of my favorite movies of all time. Now I've watched it 13 times in the last 4 months. This is my comfort movie now. I love this movie.
Yeah, I
where is it going on the we love it?
I'd put it at the top.
Top.
I genuinely bordered on putting this in the love category. It's just I couldn't go above a 7 when I rated it. I was like, I was like, this is a 7, but yeah, I quite liked it. It was good.
There's like I can admit there's some objective problems with this film.
Really?
Listen, hater, calm down, okay? Like the script definitely could have used like a few more edits, because like there's some really nice like deadpan humor that they put in the first act that kind of loses a bit of its spark as the movie continues. They introduce Michael's like best friend, who's just like saying like fuck you Lisa and all this stuff throughout the film, and it's never really explained or explored why she's like someone to introduce as an antagonist. You can definitely tell that Zelda Williams, she's a fresh director, like this was her directorial debut, and you can tell that. But like this has a genuine 80s vibe, which like man, there's so much
hard to find these days.
Yeah, like everything is 80s these days, and every time I watch something that takes place in the 80s, like I can tell this isn't in the 80s. And I'm watching this, I'm like, oh my god, this captures the 80s vibe so well. Taffy is hilarious as the comedic relief. I think this movie made me a Cole Sprouse fan, because I didn't know who this guy was. And then I watched legitimately every single Lisa Frankenstein interview him and Catherine Newton did, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys have insane like the best chemistry I think I've seen between actors like ever. You need to be doing more movies together.
Dude,
After Gossip Girl, just watch Riverdale. Yeah, just watch Riverdale. He's on that too.
I you know what? I watched a couple of his movies after this, and I'm a fan. This dude is cool.
You've
I
never seen?
I watched that podcast interview. That was really interesting.
Or anything like that.
Sorry, Uninspired.
Saying you've never seen The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody?
It was past my time, man.
Oh man,
I never saw it too. We're old. We're older than you, Tur.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Like
what? It's literally
way
what
older,
made them
dude.
famous, dude. It's what
I
made them
saw a couple
famous.
episodes because my siblings hit them because they were around that age, but I
Yeah,
didn't. I mean, I didn't connect
that
that was him when I saw this movie. But yeah, I watched the Vex sent an interview with him our way, and I watched that, and he's actually a really interesting guy.
You see,
Yeah,
Catherine
not
Newton
like
is actually a
anything of
really
the movie.
good and entertaining person. It's just that they put her in crappy movies sometimes, man.
Like this one. Like this one.
Racist.
Pipe down.
This movie has the best like couples vibe. Like there's a lot of these movies on the list where you couldn't really show it to your girl unless she was in a specific mood, and even if she was, she'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" This is one of the movies where it's like, yeah, it's harmless.
They lost me at the dick part. They lost me. I was
That
just
was
like,
hilarious.
Okay.
Oh, it's
and then
pretty
the
nice.
part, and I was like, this is like, I don't even. It's not even scary. Like this movie's not even scary.
It's not supposed to be scary. It's a comedy.
It's a horror comedy.
Hocus
like, I get
pocus
it. Horror
vibes.
is, yeah, but yeah, no. Let's talk about a better movie. Let's talk about a better movie because I can't stand this movie.
I
We
love
love it.
Longlegs. Yeah.
Argumentally, I initially would say we love it. The more I think about it, I would put it on a high we like it list.
Yep, I'm with we like it. A high we like it. I wouldn't give it a
Yes.
we love it because when I rewatch it, I don't know, man. I can't pinpoint what it is, but something isn't clicking right.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I went the other way. The first time I watched it, I really liked it. The second time, I think it bumped it up to I love it. Probably at the bottom of I love it, but I quite enjoyed this on rewatch.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree, and I think maybe just to throw an idea out there, maybe the thing that you can't pinpoint is that Oz Perkins is doing almost too much with the subliminal stuff, and the weird part is he doesn't even know the brilliance of half the subliminal stuff he's doing. If we're going by his interviews,
Oh my god, that interview was awful. That Ask Me Anything interview that knocked this movie down. I've seen his other stuff. I like it. I like what and Longlegs to me creeped me out because religious horror to me is when it's done well. That's my Achilles heel. Like I'm terrified of shit like that, and it's done well. But the more I think about it, and I haven't seen it since the theater release, the more I'm like, I like it. I don't think I love it. Like I love it as much as I love The Substance, First Omen, Late Night with the Devil, but I do like it.
Yeah, I'd put it at the top of we like or the bottom of we love. I loved it, but I remember me and Vex were like arguing with Leon who hated it. If you do hate it,
Leon likes Beetlejuice though. So.
Yeah,
he likes Beetlejuice. So there's that for that one.
Like I can understand somebody feeling a bit off put by Longlegs the way it's structured, but there is. I was like, I watched the interview with him and I was like, this guy doesn't really even know what he made. He almost doesn't get what he made. He made something pretty dang great, but he just seems ignorant to the fact. That's kind of why I like, it's like whenever me and a friend will like deep dive into a movie and start interpreting it, we just kind of throw away any idea of what the director says the movie's about. Cause I'm like, you're not in full control all the time of the movie subtext. Like I don't think that whatever your intent is always matters.
And by the way, phenomenal marketing around this movie. And I've seen other movies attempt to kind of copy it, and it just doesn't do well with the other ones.
It's Neon, man. Neon always knows how to market their stuff. I don't think that there's ever been a very poorly marketed Neon movie. They just know how to hit the mark. They even know how to hit the mark more than A24 when it comes to marketing.
It's one of the few. I don't know if you're all familiar with the channel Analyzing Evil. It's a great idea for a channel. I hate listening to the guy talk because he has to enunciate very specifically like this. It's really annoying. This is one of the few videos he did that I thought was really well done. He actually does a good job analyzing this particular character. He kind of throws a little bit of that out and does it a little bit more normally. But I rewatched this yesterday and really like, because I was on the fence between love it and like it, and I think rewatching it pushed it over to love. But I would put it at the bottom of love.
This got better with rewatches for me. I think like in the theater, I was blown away, and then it just got better and better. And I still have 13 pages of script notes just sitting there in my Google Drive for a video that I never made. Like I loved deep diving into everything this movie did too. I think, like Gord said, remove the director completely because he clearly doesn't understand what the fuck he did with this movie.
No.
He really doesn't.
He's very pretentious. He's very, I hate to say classist, reading his Ask Me Anything interview. Like he doesn't respect his fans. He doesn't.
I think he thinks that the fans that he has are incredibly high level horror people. But like, nah, man, a ton of people who appreciate horror are just normal people, man.
Yeah. Speaking of Neon, with talking about one good movie, let's talk about a really bad movie.
Yeah, I also hated this.
I didn't watch Cuckoo.
Yeah,
I haven't
the
seen this
longer it went
either.
on,
I was very disappointed by it.
Again, another problem of too much going in with the plot and too many things that just didn't come together well. Dan Stevens couldn't even save this for me.
Man, yeah,
he did a good German accent.
He does.
But and also, I think the only thing this movie has going for it is they used a nice camera. The camera work is great. It looks cool, but like, dude, it is borderline unwatchable. I was very upset by it. It sucked because I was excited for it. It looked interesting.
I was too. The marketing was great. I thought the color palette used for it, the scenes I saw, was great. I was excited. I took an edible. I was sitting in the theaters, and I was like, "This is gonna get better. This is gonna get better." And the lead actress just cannot act. She cannot act. Can't carry a movie.
He cannot act.
Whatever. Can't do it. And then with Dan, and I was like, okay, Dan Stevens will save this. Nope, Dan Stevens is not going to save this. All right, it's just
Dan Stevens cannot overcome trends.
It is a mess. Like you know what? I would put this. Yeah, I would watch Abigail before I would watch this again.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
I definitely
here's the thing, usually when these movies are marketed and they're shrouded with mystery, like, what's it about? Usually, like, when you figure it out, it's cool. If I were to tell you what this is about, you'd be like, what the fuck? That sounds awful. And it's like, it is.
Yep.
You'd be genuinely confused if we explain what the hell the reveal is. You'd be like, what?
It's like,
okay, don't spoil it. I am gonna watch it.
No,
at some
don't worry,
point,
don't worry. I won't spoil it.
Oh my god! If you like this movie, this is what I'm going to do to you.
I mean, if you're Art the Clown pushing me over, then I just might like this movie. So you'll do that.
Under Paris is the next one. I didn't see it.
We love it.
We love it.
I want to see
it.
Really? I do really want to see this.
All right, I'm gonna put it.
This is so bad, it's good.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's so bad, it's good. And the fact that like Vex didn't know this until I explained it to her, but like the mayor in the movie, they're basically making fun of Paris's actual mayor, who's called Anne Hidalgo, and because she's just like incompetent to the point where people are mocking her every day, and it's like,
wow.
When you put it in context of Paris and the political sphere of Paris now, and seeing that this is basically satire mocking all of that, it is just hilarious, man. It's really it's so bad it's good. I like it.
Totally
It's an 8, 9, or 10 out of 10.
I'd put it at the end of that list for sure. But it's just like it's super rewatchable. It's super enjoyable. It even satirizes the whole climate change, like green agenda too, because that's a huge thing for some of the side characters. This was the most fun I had with a movie until I saw Terrifier 3 in the theater.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically like full blown satire of Paris. It really is. It really is.
Don't take this seriously whatsoever. Just go in knowing that you're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Next one is that just got out yesterday, which I watched. I don't know who else had seen it.
I watched it.
Okay. It's Don't Move, and to me it's a meh, like at the bottom of the meh list. I don't think it's a fuck this movie, because I think there are some good things in it. But I don't think it's I wouldn't.
Do they move in it? Do they move?
No. Like the premise is interesting. It's just dragged way too long for it.
Yeah. I agree with you, Nadia. I would put it in the meh tier, but like after MaXXXine, maybe, because like yeah, the premise is good, and I like Finn Wittrock, but he seems to have his performance like reined in a little bit. Like he's not as unhinged as you would hope for him to be, and that he can be. And then it just gets really silly. Also, I wish they took that stupid hippie chick's nose ring out because I don't believe for a second she's a mother. I'm like, you just look like you smell like kombucha. That's it. So,
and then just slap Sam Raimi's name on it. He's just a producer. He has nothing to do with it.
It got stupider as the film went on, and it kept trying to like justify stupid scenarios to keep the plot moving forward. And again, it's a shame because it is a good idea. It was a solid premise starting out.
I kept checking time. I'm like, there's no way this movie has like an hour left into it, halfway into it.
Yikes.
But it did. Next is Salem's Lot, and to me, this is a fuck this movie. I think it's a poor remake of the source material, and I think the original 70s one is way better, way more terrifying. Anybody want to argue with me on that one? Because
no, it's funny too because the 70s one is super boring, and yet it's way better than this new one. You know,
I would actually watch Speak No Evil again before I see this movie.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because I love the source material so much. I apologize to the Rob Lowe one. The Rob Lowe one's way better than this one. And it's because the editing was weird on it. Weird filter. Dialogue didn't make sense in certain parts. And came out that they originally were going to have it to be like 3 hours. I'm like, why didn't you just do like similar to the 70s? Just split it into the 3-part miniseries. To expand on
wasn't that what they were supposed to do? Wasn't it supposed to be a TV show?
It was supposed to be a theatric release, and it didn't get it. It just went straight to Max. Yeah.
Man, they really cut their losses on that one.
2 movies left. Who saw Mr. Crockett?
Nope.
I didn't.
Didn't that just come out?
It did. It's on Hulu. I would put that movie I would put it at the bottom of the meh list. Cool premise. Terrifying. Some terrifying concepts to it. Did not deliver very well.
Oof.
But I think it's a movie I would recommend people at least check it out because of the premise, but I wouldn't watch it again.
What's it about?
Basically it's about a child's TV host who is like this entity that steals children who have bad parents, usually ends up killing the parents, and then it happens to the single mother who just recently lost her husband, and she has to go into his world and save her child. So again, interesting premise with the horror aspect. I just wish they would expand it on it a little bit more for me.
Okay.
And then last movie, because that is a GIF, somehow it ended up there. The Watchers. Anybody saw The Watchers?
This. My God, man. It is.
Okay, hear me out. The premise is cool because it's a folktale, fairy tale horror movie. I think it's a top of the meh list, maybe all right. It's the third act. If they had not continued the story past the point of them being rescued, I think it would have been a better movie.
So I'll definitely agree with you there, because the third act is like, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, man. And that third act was kind of just like, what? It's basically
as soon as they got on the bus. As soon as they got on the bus, yeah.
It's kind of like Trap, where at least you can say, okay, first act, second act, third act. Oh God, yeah.
There is a scene in it that creeped me the fuck out in theaters. Like I freaked out when I saw it in theaters in this movie. So that's like, it has redeeming qualities, and I like the concept of it. It's just it doesn't deliver with the third act.
It's the execution in the explanation, basically, that kind of messes it up. It's Shyamalan, you know, like it's his daughter.
This is directed by a different daughter, though, not the singer daughter.
Yeah.
No,
it's a different daughter.
Yeah, different daughter. Yep.
He's being like Will Smith and Jada Smith, where they're just like shoving their children down our throats against our will. Stop trying to make your kids famous.
That's where I would put it right behind Aliens again, because I would watch it again over any of these other movies below it, because I haven't seen it since I've seen it in theaters. Again, creepy premise, really creepy design and stuff. That third act, man, as soon as they got rescued, it just went downhill for me.
Yeah, it breaks down.
Weird
And plus,
dialogue on the bus too.
redeeming qualities in terms of the cinematography and some of the scares were well built up as well. You know, it wasn't just jump scare bonanzas. So it's like, yeah, it's okay, but really that third act would just make you not want to rewatch the movie. I don't know.
Like, I would stop it at the bus. I would just end the movie there. Like, if you're gonna watch it, just end it right there.
Press pause and use your head cannon. That's it.
We're almost 3 hours in. That's it, guys. I mean, we had way more movies on this, so I'm glad we did.
And I watched all those too for no reason. No, for a good
It's all right.
reason.
We'll do other tier lists. Maybe I'm thinking in the future based on genres. Like maybe we'll do like Korean horror and stuff. That's ideas. But I'm pretty happy with this. I think this is a great tier list. I think
this was fucking fun. I really hope to do another one of these.
Always fun.
That being said,
do you want to just like go over real quick for the viewers, like what's final in each tier?
Yes. Okay. So, in We Love It, which these are the movies
do We Love It last? That's the good stuff.
Okay. We'll do. Okay. Fuck this. Do not finish. These are movies we do not recommend watching. Azrael, whatever. In a Violent Nature, Immaculate, Tarot, Cuckoo, Never Let Go, I Saw the TV Glow, Deliverance, which hold on, I gotta play it again. Hold on.
I can smell your nappy pussy.
Don't take me down, YouTube. Just don't take me down. Okay. Deliverance, Trap, Beetlejuice, Night Swim, the remake of Speak No Evil, and Salem's Lot. Meh is like, it's all right. Just got it playing in the background. I don't agree with this, but Common did do me a favor. So, Alien Romulus, The Watchers, Infested, VH Beyond, Abigail, Loop Track, MaXXXine, Don't Move, Blink Twice, Oddity, Apartment 7A, and Mr. Crockett. It's all right. Is Smile 2, Quiet Place, Sting, and Daddy's Head. We Like It, which is usually like around the 7 rating. Longlegs, Lisa Frankenstein, The Devil's Bath, Mads, and The Front Room. And last but not least, We Love It, The Substance, Exhuma, Night with the Devil, First Omen, Terrifier 3, Strange Darling, and for some reason Under Paris. I didn't see it, but yeah. So,
Nadia, if you decide to take an edible at any time in the future, take it and watch Under Paris.
Oh yeah.
You won't
Okay.
You will laugh your ass
Maybe
off.
I'll do it tonight. I don't know. We'll see. But if you are watching this on the replay, you do not agree with any of these, or you do, please comment below. Let me know what you're thinking on that. I would be very interesting because it like a lot of them met and fuck this. I've seen other content creators like praise, so
Yeah.
I'm sure they're very divisive. So on that note, thank you all for joining me. This was fun. I think we should do other tier lists. It'd be kind of fun. Maybe
Hell
we'll do
yeah.
theme ones like vampire movies or something to that extent. That being said, Enzo, what do you have going on next?
I guess I'll be streaming Sunday midnight after Gooch's show. Just doing another Halloween, adventure, and probably doing the same thing Monday after MMM. I don't know. Got a lot of weird crap to watch. And then Wednesday got a movie that me and my cousin watched called The Monster Club, which was really bad anthology. Is super cringe, starring Peter Cushing, Donald Pleasance, and who's the other one? Vincent Price. And you'd think it would have been good. You thought it would have been good. It was not. So come suffer with us on Wednesday. And Thursday, I think I'm going to have a big Goosebumps marathon go out at midnight. It might be like 5 to 8 hours long. I don't know.
Holy cow.
We'll see.
Jesus.
That being said, if anybody wants to watch the Goosebumps movie right after this, let me know. I'm going to be doing that.
All right. Vex.
Thank you for having me here. First of all, great pleasure. I love all of you on this panel, except for El Monstro Gord. I like the original Gord better. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a video out this weekend. I don't know. I can't figure out what I want to do. But other than that, MMM on Monday, Gord will be there. We are reviewing the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre since it is not only Halloween, but it just had its 50th anniversary as well.
Yeah.
And I'll be on a bunch of other streams. You can check my main channel, Vex Electronica. I always put up where I'm going to be during the week.
Very cool. Gord, what you got going on?
Well, like Vex said, Monday we're going to be talking about that movie about all the chainsaws being massacred. Then Tuesday, I believe I'm going to be on Jacob Ironside's channel talking Sleepy Hollow, and I am trying to get a video out about the 1978 John Carpenter overrated classic Halloween. For
You're gonna make a lot of people mad.
I can't. I hope so. I hope so because they're wrong.
Wow. Tur, what do you got going?
Oh, just finished 2 hosts. We covered the Terminator, so you can check that out over on Dark Hours channel and our re-upload channel. All of it is, of course, linked on my channel, so you can check that out. I do have a new video that'll be coming out in about a week's time. It's going to be on Monster House. It's going to be after Halloween, so I would have missed out on spooky season. But I think the Monster House is really an underrated movie that people have kind of forgotten about. That scares not only kids but can scare adults as well. So yeah, it'll be my proper return to form on YouTube, and yeah, I've been really having fun making it. But massive thanks for having me on, Nadia.
Oh, absolutely, man. All of you guys, like everybody's link is in the description below. Please go subscribe to all of them. They're awesome content creators. As for myself, tomorrow I'll be on Sassy stream with Vex doing her Halloween stream. Monday over on Inside All Day talking Penguin. And then Tuesday, I am on Pop Culture Minefield discussing Army of Darkness. So you can catch where I'm at. Also, if you follow me on Twitter X, I post where I'm at all the time. So on that note, thank you again to my guests for joining me. I had a great time. I was really looking forward to this the entire week. I was really excited about it. And I'm going to use the new StreamYard thing where it's an outro. So let's see if it works. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.